Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Saturday, February 22nd, Sunday, February 23rd, for those of you across the pond and beyond. Welcome to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm so glad you guys can join us this evening. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and I hope you had an awesome week and a rockin' weekend so far. And thank you so much for joining us tonight on one of our many outlets. And you may also find us on Spreaker under We Are Paradox Media, Periscope under TessaTNT, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Tumblr, YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Deezer, as well as Podcast Addict. And just recently, we were added by a new network called the Global Enlightenment Network. So tonight I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there. Tonight we will be talking to and getting to know my brother from another mother, Mr. Chris Garcia. So Chris Garcia is a psychic, medium, empath, clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudient who also has the ability to see auras and has experience with remote viewing. He has had these God-given gifts since the young age of 5. Chris loves helping people and sensitive children with their gifts as well. He is a tarot card reader and a ghost hunting and paranormal enthusiast. He is also a shaman healer and very into his native heritage. Chris, welcome to the show. And we're not, just brother and sister from the past, but now we're in relation in a new network. It's amazing.
Yep, it's just that only says that it's a beautiful thing to come together as, being a guest and then you being part of the network. So it's kind of like a beautiful thing. It's like a family, it doesn't get any better than that.
We actually had a call already coming in. That's insane. That's really quick. So I got to try to add them really quick. Holy shnikes. Everybody's on pins and needles. So with Skype and its updates, because they got to fix things even though they're not broken. Geez, oh Pete. So I'm going to add this person to my contacts. Add contact. So what captured my interest this time in reading your bio was the whole seeing auras. And after my Uncle Daddy Bill passed, I'm sitting there and I'm talking to my sister Amanda, which she was like my sister cousin, for a while. She was always like my sister, but then I got adopted this last year, so she really, really is my sister. And I'm sitting there talking to her, and I see my Uncle Bill's aura like right behind her, and he kept like trying to float up, but then he'd come back down and float up and come back down. What kind of aura things have you witnessed?
I mean, I've seen like different auras when a person is, sick. I've seen auras when people go through transition. But I do feel with your uncle, I just feel like he was going through a lot of stuff. So
Yeah, you're cutting out. I don't know what's going on.
Stressed out. And I just feel like he's just really stressed out. And I'm being told, like, I'm sorry.
Holy shnikes. Are you still there? Oh, no. Yeah, I'm still not hearing you. Maybe move to a better area? Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you. This is weird. We're having paratechnical issues.
Greenish color, like a yellow greenish.
Yeah, I missed a lot of what you were saying because you're cutting out. I don't know if you have a specific area in your room where you can go where we could hear you.
He's in distress, and he's in. Yes, I'm still here. I can hear you perfect.
Yeah, I can't hear you very good.
Well,
I don't know
maybe
if
I need to switch headphones. Maybe try that.
Okay. Yeah, try that
Yeah,
really
I can hear you
quick.
perfectly.
Yeah, weird. Because you're cutting in and out, but it's kind of like when you try to say something and it's important and the other side doesn't want you to say it. You know what I mean?
Can you hear me?
A little bit, yeah.
I'm always in the same spot.
Okay. I can hear you now. Okay, so what were you saying?
So there must be some kind of energy that's just trying to stop, get people just from them calling me.
Yeah, and you were talking about my Uncle Bill, who's like my dad. After my mom died, and my dad, he took it really hard because he really loved her, and then he ended up passing away. So you said you were seeing like a yellowish greenish aura, because that's exactly what I was seeing, like a yellowish aura, and it kept like floating up behind her.
Mhm. So it's just the I just feel like that's what happened. I think that's what got him sick. So when he was already, what, I'm done, I'm tired, that's when the color of the yellowish and greenish came along.
Yeah, it was funny because shortly before he got sick, he got pulmonary fibrosis, which he was a smoker a lot of his life, and then he'd gotten sick with pneumonia and such, which scarred his lungs. The reason he died is he was overdosed by fentanyl. It was dose after dose after dose. Like, nobody could live through that. But like you said, he was ready. Like, he was tired. He was ready. And I remember riding in the car with him one time, and my uncle was the craziest driver besides my sister that I know. And I'm like, Uncle Bill, come on. You're scaring me. I'm not ready to die. And he's like, well, I am. And I'm like, well, that doesn't mean I am. So could you please quit driving like that? But he was a really amazing guy. He was a nurse, and he was just trying to help people his whole life, He was really awesome, dude.
Yeah, and sometimes some people just go through changes because they just, it's just a little bit different. So now when they're ready to go and they just don't want to be here and be suffering anymore, they just let go. That's basically what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had a really strong faith, and he was in the priesthood and such, and not only was he serving people at work by being an ER nurse, but in his regular life, like, he'd have the missionaries over and feed them, and he'd go out and help whoever, and then you go back to his house, and it's just like a total disaster. Like, nobody's helping him, but he's helping everybody else, and I agree with what you're saying. He was really tired, but that was like the most amazing, like, aura thing that I had seen. I'm sitting there and I'm listening to her, and I'm trying to pay attention, but I keep seeing him behind her kind of floating up, and then he'd anchor himself again, and he's floating him up, and then he'd anchor himself again. So I don't know if he was being called away or what, but I was like, Amanda, I hate to interrupt, but I keep seeing your dad, his aura behind you.
Wow.
And then she was all disappointed because she couldn't see it, but I'm just like, he is with you. And she took it really hard. She was actually on the Dr. Phil show. Her and my mom were on there, and geez, oh Pete, what a freaking circus show that was. They actually make you wear things you generally wouldn't wear. So my mom, they put her in like these high heel boots, and my mom does not wear heels. And then they even had earrings on her, and they taped the earrings to her head. Can you believe that? Oh my goodness.
That is crazy for them to be that mean.
Yeah, Holly weird. They want to portray a certain, I don't know, picture or portrait to somebody, even though it's not reality. Like, why not let people be themselves? But they want to portray you as differently than you are, and they totally made my sister look cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like, she couldn't let go of her dad. Although, it was like that, but they were acting like she just carried his urn of ashes around all the time, which she didn't. She had this really cool setup where his ashes were in her closet and pictures surrounding it, and it was kind of like a mantle or whatever dedicated to him and his life and such, and they made her look totally freaking crazy. But yeah, Hollywood, don't go to Dr. Phil. He's not even a real doctor. Holly Weird is what I like to call it. Okay, so I'm going to try to add this caller who's an area code 559 caller. Hopefully we won't get a voicemail going on. And we'll see what happens.
I know, cross our fingers.
I know. Come on, Skype. But in the meantime, I wanted to thank you for, we are joined by area code 559. Who are we talking to?
This is Susie Martinez.
Hi, Susie. How are you
Hi.
this evening?
Good.
I'm so glad you called. I'm sorry we're having Skype issues and I had to call you back, but I'm glad we got you on the line now. Did you have a Chris for question? A question for Chris?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so what is it that you have a question?
Well, I just bought a new car, and I'm already having buyer's remorse.
Oh.
I just like to know if my finances are going to be okay.
Actually, I'm going to tell you right now, your finances will get better. It's just that you're going through a test of being how much I guess you can tolerate.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I know that you bought the car, and I'm being told that you got it, but you were hesitant to begin with.
Yes.
For some reason, and I felt like maybe I'm being told that you felt like you were getting ripped off by, they were either giving you I just can't even talk. Oh my God, my voice is messing up. They probably felt like you felt like you were getting a lemon car, like a car that was just no good for you. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I do feel that you will get your finances, but if you kind of feel like that car is kind of acting weird on you, you should have a warranty. So I would suggest, if you feel uncomfortable with the vehicle and it's not reliable and it's kind of acting up, once you bought it from the dealer, I would say go back and tell them to see if you can pick another car that's within the same price range. And then you pick the car that calls your attention, and then you just pay the difference, or they can refund you to where you'll be better off, because I'm being told that you will be better financed, but then in a way you're kind of skeptical about the car, so you're kind of like, you know what, am I really happy with this car? You're kind of like questioning yourself, so I'm being told just to be careful, because you do have a warranty on your car, is what I'm being told. So as long as you have that warranty and you don't like the way it runs or there's defects, then I would suggest go take it back before the warranty runs out.
Okay, but how would I take it back? That's kind of a big thing to return.
Well, I mean, you can do that. I think that you don't have to return it. Return it, you can just get an exchange. For the same
if you
vehicle,
have the warranty, make sure you go in before it's expired. A lot of times those are really short warranties if it's used. So make sure you go in before it expires, and make sure you keep up on all the fluids and such.
Yeah, just make sure that you, the way they sold it to you is the way you bring it back, which means you put the gas and all that stuff. And you can still get the same car, but maybe a different color. And you can go that route. But as far as the car itself, I do feel like finances will pick up for you. So I'm being told that I want to say something in March is coming for you. So your finance increase it's going to advance. It's what I'm being told for you.
Okay, and it's another question, which I've talked to you before about my job and work. And I don't know if you can pick up on that. Do you see anything improvement in there? Because I know you tell me they actually don't like me there.
And who am I talking to again?
Susie Martinez.
Well, it doesn't ring a bell because I've been talking to so many people. It's not even funny. You kind of ring maybe it's because it's been a while since I haven't seen you because now you
Yeah,
can't even go on Facebook.
Yeah, you're the one who helped me stop drinking.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's good. That's good that I helped you. The only thing is about the improvement about your job. I still feel like it's still there. I just feel like you're just gonna have to cope with the people that you work with. Just do your job and just don't give two damns about what they say, and then just do what you got to do and just focus on your job and just bringing the money home and making a good life of yourself. Because I do see that with your life, you do have money coming in, and now that you stop drinking, whatever money that you spent money on drinking, you're starting to see how much you saved now that you stopped drinking. That's what I'm being told. That you're looking at how much you spent. So you're calculating everything, and you're like, oh wow, I saved all this money. So I'm being told with that little bit of extra money, it's going to help you with your finances and everything else.
Okay. Thank you. Do you see anything for my kids? My children are doing good. Anything that I should be worried about, or anything good?
As far as your kids, I'm just being told just to be on them and for them to be cautious who they talk to, because I'm being told that they're going through a transformation, a change. So they're starting to realize who their friends are. So just tell them to choose their friends wisely, because I'm being told that they're going to be tested within the next few weeks.
Oh, okay.
So you might want to tell them to be careful who they talk to, who they confide in, and what they tell them for their safety.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Chris, and I really appreciate the reading.
You're welcome. Anytime I'm here. You can always call me. If you know my number, you know how to reach me.
Yes, I do. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for calling in.
Thank you for calling in. Bye.
That's so awesome that you helped her to quit drinking. Like, for a lot of people, that's really difficult.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because, yeah. And it's so most of the time, Tessa, I forget, with everybody that I'm helping. Sometimes I don't write everything down, but I think I should start doing that. Start writing everything down, because I don't. Because when they'll talk to me, they're like, well, do you remember talking to me? And I'm like, I talk to a lot of people. So it's kind of like, yeah. I know. Mm-hmm. It's a learning experience. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, as long as she has that warranty on the car, I feel that if she needs to return it and she feels uncomfortable with it, then I would say go get another car that calls to her, but it could be the same car, but maybe a different color. So maybe I would suggest for her to go back if she wants to. Now, if not, then basically that's then she has to just deal with the car. So, oh, and I was gonna tell you something too, Tess. Right now, one of my friends says that they don't hear you, but they hear me only.
Okay. Yeah, and somebody over in this other chat room is like, do we have a call in? Well, I'm trying to add a call, and with this last one, I was able to easily add it. With this one, I might have to call them and then add you into the call, but let me try again to add them to our call.
Yeah, because they said that they could only hear me, so I don't know if your auto is up, because somebody said that they can only hear me, so I don't know if you have all your your stuff up because somebody said that they can only hear me. So you might want to make sure you have all your volumes up because they just messaged me and they said, we don't hear Tessa.
Yeah, I was just muted for a second.
Oh, that's probably why.
My Jimmy rigged sound system over here on my Periscope is driving me nuts. Rano, he's like, hey, oh yeah. Razor Mom said, can we type a question? And she said she can hear me fine, actually. But yes, you can type a question or you can call in. A lot of times it's easier to pick up on your energy and such when you do call in. I don't know. I think it's the whole voice thing. But feel free to type a question if you're not comfortable calling in. If you are comfortable calling in, feel free to do so, and we'll do that. But okay, so I'm trying to add this other caller. So what you were saying basically earlier is auras can change, like even after death or prior to death?
Prior to death. Sometimes the colors will change right before death, and then the colors get dimmer right when they're about to let go. The colors of their aura get dimmer. So, yeah.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like at first he was really at peace with it, but then the nurse came in and was giving him fentanyl, and he's a nurse. He knows what it does, and he's like, if you give me that, it's going to lower my oxygen intake. And he had basically like forced air, like a CPAP going on. They wouldn't even let him eat. And this nurse is giving him this due to doctor's orders, but not only was there one, there was like a couple doctors giving the same order, so it was just like one after the other of fentanyl. And you hear about it all the time on Live PD or other places where people are overdosing all the time because fentanyl's mixed in with these different drugs. So it's pretty sad that they took his peace away, like he was ready to go peacefully, and then she basically came in and murdered him. And when my sister did the case against this nurse, she lost. Had she done it against the doctors, it would have been different, but she did it against the nurse who was just following orders.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm trying to add this number again because I just tried to call again. So feel free to talk about whatever. So it was exciting being on your show, and I tried to tag Junior and his wife on my whole Facebook Live or whatever, but I couldn't find them. I'm like, man, must be spelling it wrong. Junior's not popping up, but I know it's Crystal and Junior, so I don't know. But they're a lot of fun, and you guys work so good as a team. Like, I love the energy over there. It's like a happy-go-lucky energy, bright and vibrant, and I could just tell from your energy on the video, like your body language and such, that you're really enjoying yourself.
And I am. I love having different guests, and for you to be on my guest, because I remember I always told you I was going to put you on, and like I said, it was just, we didn't even talk about it. It was just in the spur of the moment, and I said, you know what, I just want to see if you're available, and sure enough you were, so I'm glad that I had you on.
Yeah, it sucked because like Friday, I was looking real good and I had good energy going on, and then Monday it was just like I was so tired and I almost slept through it, and then when I woke up my voice was gone. Okay, so what I think we're gonna have to do with this 863 area code is to call them and then add you to the call. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, so I'm going to try to do that really quick, and I apologize everybody who's listening right now. If you would like to, call and complain to Skype. So give me just 1 second. I'm going to call this person because they keep trying. Oh my goodness.
Hello?
Hello, how are you this evening?
Hi, doing great. Thank you for taking my call.
No worries. I'm sorry about the Skype issues. Like, I believe in if it's not broke, don't fix it, but they think they have to fix it and they ruin everything. So let me get Chris back in here. I had to call you separately, and I'm adding him back in right now. So hopefully he'll come right through. But I'm so glad you called, and I'm sorry about the inconvenience with the whole Skype thing going on.
Oh, no worries. Well, technology, it's great when it works and definitely not when it doesn't. So
I totally agree.
I totally understand.
Welcome, Chris.
I know. Welcome.
Hey, Chris.
So who am I speaking to?
This is Julia from Florida.
Okay,
I had texted my question.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want me to say it again or...
Okay, well, I'm reading the question right now. Okay. Right now, what I'm feeling to tell you is that I know that you've always lived in California. I mean, not in Florida. I mean, California, Florida. It's funny I said that. That's weird. I said California. That was just so weird. Maybe California is probably calling you. But anyway, I do feel like you've always lived in Florida. I'm being told that what I'm being told for you is to follow what your heart tells you, because I'm being told that I feel like you would be better off at the beach, next to the shore. But if it's too pricey, then I would say, if you're getting tired of Florida, then I would say move somewhere where it's kind of similar to Florida, where it's got water in it, then you can move. But I'm being told for you to follow your heart, follow your instincts, because your heart is telling you where to move. I'm being told that you know where to move, but you're kind of like having doubts of where to move, because I'm being told that you already know where you want to move. It's just that you just need that validation to confine that you're right on what you feel. And I'm being told that whatever you felt before you called in, you know that answer. You know what you need to do. So if you feel like you need to move near the shore, then do it. If that's what makes you happy, then do it. Now, if you feel like now that's not good enough, then this is what you can do. If you want to, you can sit down, close your eyes, exhale, inhale, and just breathe. Make sure that you're very calm. Okay? And then what you can do is ask the universe and say, where do I move? And the first thing that pops in your head is the first thing you're going to see. So say, for instance, for me, I'm going to tell you like this. It's funny how I said California, but you're in Florida. So maybe that's telling me that spirit is telling me to tell you that Florida is another option. That California is another option for you. So you might want to keep that in mind, because sometimes with psychics and mediums, we tend to blurb things out, and some people just think, oh, that doesn't mean anything. But yes, it does. Yes, it does, because since I'm psychic, my whole body's in tune. So whatever my throat chakra, whatever came out of my mouth, that's telling me to tell you that you might want to move out of Florida and move into a total different environment and move to California. So just keep that in mind. But if you don't feel comfortable with California, then you can stay in Florida. But you might want to keep California in mind, because the fact that it slipped out of my mouth, I don't want to say that's coincidence, because I don't believe in coincidences. I believe everything happens for a reason, and for everything that we say from spirit, because I'm connected to the divine. So whatever the divine tells me is what I'm going to spit out. And it's funny how I say California when I meant to say Florida. So you might want to say spirit is kind of like giving you options. So whatever feels right in your heart, you go with what you feel. Okay?
Okay. Well, just, I'm flying solo. I'm mid-50s and kind of doing everything on my own right now. And it's a little daunting, because I'm starting over. And so I've gone through so many changes in the last 5 years of just, I was in a really long marriage and went through the divorce process and have been doing some healing. So it's just, not having that support system. When you're married, you have somebody else to kind of, we're in this together kind of thing. And then all of a sudden you don't have that support system anymore. And
You know what?
you're doing it all,
Well,
maybe.
well, then that makes perfect sense why I pick up California. Because you know why? Because you're independent. Now, if you were with somebody, then you would say, you know what, let's stay in Florida. But it really depends on what makes you happy. Don't do anything for anybody else. Don't do anything for, your ex-boyfriend, your ex-husband. Do what makes you happy. It's about you. It's not about me. It's not about Tessa. It's about you. You focus on what you want. You put that intention out there, and I guarantee you, your prayers will be answered.
And I kind of feel like, was that really a good support system for you, or were you really doing most of the work in the first place?
Yeah, I felt like I was, the giver while he was more the receiver. So yeah.
You know what? I'm going to add a little something. And since this is my first time talking to you, I'm going to tell you a little something too that I picked up besides the question that you asked me.
Okay.
Not only were you asking about the question about where you want to move, but I was also told that he wasn't very supportive with you doing healings or anything of that nature. He was kind of like totally against what you believe in, which means I know that you're a light worker. I know that I'm picking that up right off the bat. You're an empath, okay? You're a clairvoyant. You're clairsentient.
People pleaser.
So you are a very gifted person, and I'm being told that it's so weird because it reminds me of the show that I did with my friend Tess. I had her on my show, and I'm going to tell you one thing. When you have somebody that knows who you are, and you tell them what you do, and they say that they're okay with it, but once they see spiritual growth and expanding, then they try to confine you to where they try to control you and say, okay, well, you know what? Yes, I told you I was fine with this, but you know what? I changed my mind. I don't feel comfortable you talking to that guy, or I don't feel you talking okay with that girl, because he was trying to control you, and he was a distraction and trying to stop your progressing. And now that you're not with him, you have the freedom to do what you want, to move wherever you want, and to finally have a happy life and make a change and start over and find somebody that, if you do find that person, the next person that comes in your life, that person will support you. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, I would like to have love again. I mean, I'm 58, so it's like I don't want to wait, I don't want to like grow old alone. I definitely want to have a partner, equal, somebody who gets me, like you said, somebody who will support me and, let me be me and I let him be him, and, so, but yeah, I want, like they say, the higher love. Yeah, I definitely want that.
Yeah, you definitely need to find that happiness and that love within yourself, and then find somebody to complement it, not to complete it. And Robert in the chat room was saying Monterey, California.
Mm-hmm. So he must be picking up the same thing I did, because it slipped out of my mouth. And for me to say something like that, I'm being told that maybe California's for you. That's what I'm being told. So,
wow.
So you might want to keep that in mind, even though it's on the other side. But hey, maybe there's something that's calling you in California. Maybe there's some kind of pull that I'm being told to tell you. So maybe Florida is always been your comfort zone, but now you need to get out of that comfort zone, start over, and you might find something better in California. Okay?
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, and age is scary because we all think we're getting older and I'm never going to find anybody, but it's amazing how many older people do find each other, and that's when people are most complete, like they've been through life and they've learned so many things. So I have a good feeling that you're going to find somebody that compliments you.
Good. Yay. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you, taking my call and getting to speak with you, Chris, and thank you both. So thank you. You guys
You're
have a
welcome.
great night, and I will listen on Spreaker. So
Well, I'm
thank
so
you.
glad you called in. It was awesome to hear from you.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, so I had to make sure I wasn't muted real quick, but that was awesome. And I just keep seeing oranges, even though, like, I remember when I first moved from Arkansas to Florida, we moved to Miami, Florida from the boonies in Arkansas, and all I saw was oranges, oranges, oranges. And when we went on vacation to California this year, you would be amazed at how many freaking oranges they have out there, too. It's just like row after row, mile after mile of oranges. So it has that in common. I just keep seeing oranges. So I agree with what you said, California. And it is a long way from what she knows is home, but perhaps it's going to take that for her to be happy and get through what she needs to.
That is correct. And sometimes that happens with people. Sometimes it moves them out of their comfort zone into maybe a new environment. And maybe there is something for California. Maybe that's probably why there's something there. So, yeah.
Well, we do have another caller, and it's Mr. Mighty Man Christopher Fisher. Hey, Christopher, what's going on?
Not much. I'm going to talk about my first mediumship dream that I've had in like 40 years. I want to share it with Chris.
Okay. Go ahead.
I had dreamed sharing my early childhood experiences with my real mother, the one that died last year. It was an upload. And I showed her about what it was like going through my first 8 years before everything came crashing down, so to speak. And what was weird is I never grieved the loss of my friends, of my classmates during that time period. It was like I held that back, and then my mother showed me of a person that she trusted I talk with now, in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 54196.
I guess somebody else was trying to call.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious about. She showed me somebody that she trusts. How can she see that and she's passed away?
Well, I guess when they're on the other side, they see things that they see before you do. And they know everything happens before it happens. So on the other side, so if you have an ancestor or your spirit guide that maybe could have been your grandma or your grandfather, they see everything before you see it. So right when something's about to happen, they see it up there and they get warned what's about to happen to you or what's going to occur in your life. So they get the upper hand, and then right when they see it, maybe a few days or a week later, whatever happens to you. Now, unless if they can stop it, then they'll probably get in your mind and talk to you telepathically, or they'll just tell you a dream and show you, well, this is what we see. And then once you dream on what they're going to tell you, you got to understand what they're trying to tell you through the dream. And there could be just a warning that, hey, you know what, don't go on that car because you're going to get into an accident. Or, that they saw. In other words, if they get a notice in advance, then they can tell you something before something happens. But not all the time do they see things before that occurs. Sometimes, most of the time, they're able to stop certain things. But there's certain things that they can't stop because it's out of their fate and out of their power.
That's pretty interesting that she knows who I trust and shows me that they can trust him like I can. That's weird, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That is.
it's like I was being shown going the right direction.
Yep, that is true.
You know what's ironic? This is similar to the this is like almost like synchronicity because it's almost like the same result that one person that you and I talked to, one of the other person that showed me about Labradorite, something like that. She told me that I'll eventually get to know someone, a male friend.
Mm-hmm.
That was during a Valentine's Day reading. That's even weirder in itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Chris, we do have another caller. Did you have any more questions for Chris?
Oh, I just want to say, Chris, I want to tell you everything's affirmation-wise going well.
I appreciate it. I
don't have any more questions.
Well, thanks for calling in, Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
Thank you for calling in.
I'll see you at the after party if you're awake.
Okay, I appreciate it, and we'll hopefully see you there too if I'm awake too, depending on how I am. Because I know lately I've been just so tired. I've been so drained. It's not even funny anymore.
Yeah. I feel you there too. I just want to sleep.
Yeah, I'm going to mute myself. I want to talk to you during break.
Okay.
All right, so we have area code 541. Who are we talking to?
Hi, this is Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany. Hi, nice to see you.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
We're doing good tonight.
Good, how are you?
That's good. I'm doing okay. So you feeling better than the other night, Chris? A lot better?
I mean, yeah, I do feel a lot better. It was just something that I can't discuss on the air, but I just put it this way. I was at this point where, I'm going to say a little bit how I felt, but I'm not going to say too much into it.
Okay, I just hope you feel better from
the only thing I could tell you is that I felt like it just wasn't needed, and I was already at the edge. Just put it that way. That's all I'm going to say. I was at the edge to where. So, but other than that, I'm okay now. So, yeah. But other than that, I've been okay.
Okay, well, that's good. One of my questions is, because it's kind of embarrassing, but a long time ago, I had some legal troubles where I used to live in a different state, and I want to get housing, but I'm just wondering, is that going to hold me back from getting housing? Because I've been trying to apply places, and I don't know if that's going to hold me back.
Honestly, if you let it hold you back, it will hold you back. But if you put the intention that you want to get the hell out of there, then yeah, so I would always say that if you put your intention out there, I do feel like it will be better.
Okay. Yeah, because I was worried about that because I just don't know if I'm going to still get a place. I mean, I've been trying over actually in that town that my ex moved to. So, because I heard there's better housing over there too.
Yeah.
And you can get in there quicker, so.
Yeah, so I would say just keep applying and don't give up. Just keep applying.
Okay, yeah, because I want to kind of get out of this town myself. This town isn't that great where I live.
Yeah, if you feel that way, definitely get out. That's how I felt when I lived in Cortez. It was just you could feel this weight of negativity in the air. And so I just had to get the heck out of there, even though it was only 45 minutes away. I feel so much better where I'm at now than I was before. So I definitely recommend doing that. And don't let your past hardships and whatever's going on with your legal issues hold you back. Like you said, apply everywhere, and you're bound to get in somewhere.
Okay. And one other question I had, do you have any idea where his new place would be? What's it over by? Because I kind of want to see how he's doing, but I don't know where Justin moved, where his new place is over by.
It would be in the next town, but it would be to the west side of that area. I'm being told to the west.
Oh, is it kind of by any stores?
Well, there is stores, but I can't tell you what stores there is. If anything,
gotcha.
there is
I'm
a store.
seeing tall
There's probably
buildings.
like a dollar. Yeah, so there might be like a Dollar General or some kind of like small store because, yeah. So he lives like right in the corner of a dollar store. So you might want to keep that in mind.
Okay, by a dollar store?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. But yeah, I'm going to keep trying to apply because I really want to get my own place. And I mean, I heard it's a lot better over there too. It'd be nice to have a fresh start.
Yep.
For sure.
So, okay.
But thank you for calling.
Well, thank you. You guys have a good night.
You too, and make sure you stay positive.
Thank you.
And like I said, don't let your past stuff get you down, and try to move on from that. Like turn over a new leaf and start anew.
Yeah, because it's pending. It's been since like 2015, so it's been a while. So,
well, I would say just go reapply again. It never hurts to keep applying.
Okay. Hold on a minute, honey. All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right. You have a good night. All right. Bye.
Nighty night. Love and light.
Bye. Night.
Yeah, and it seems like even though a lot of times people are trying to move on with their lives and stuff, they get kind of hung up on things or people in their past, and it's important to let a lot of those things go so you can move on, because if you don't move on from your past experiences or past people, it's going to hold you back.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You're breaking up again. Say again.
Oh, and I just want to send a shout out because I have to. I just have to send out to Christina and Junior. I know Junior's seen your ass off over there and making your food while you're listening to the show. And I know what you just said. Oh my God, you just said my name while I'm eating. Yes, you are. You're watching TV. You're watching TV and you're eating and you're looking at Christina and Christina's looking at you and you're like, did he just do that? Yes, I did. I just want to say hi to my co-host Christina and Junior on the Global Enlightenment Radio Network. And I just want to say what's up to Daryl and love to everybody, love and light to everybody that listens to Tessa and us. So, and I just want to say for Tessa, I just want to say welcome to the network.
Why, thank you. I'm super excited. Vern's really confused because before I even got the message from Daryl, he's like, who's this Daryl Oden guy? And I was like, I don't know. And then I got into my messages and I received a message from him about joining the network, and then, started looking him up, and I showed him a picture and I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is who it is. But then when I saw your show last night, that's a totally different Daryl, right? Or is that the same one?
It's totally different.
Okay,
no,
that's what I thought.
It was a different one. I'm
like, wait a minute. But yeah, I was pretty sure that wasn't him, and it's a different one. But he was like talking about my old man, and how funny he is, and he's so real. Like, mayonnaise shouldn't even be put on that, which I don't even know what that means. But yeah, we're still trying to figure out who is this guy. And you said you've known him for a long time.
Yes, I have.
But he seems pretty cool, and I think it's awesome that even though he and Katie are divorced, they're still working together to get this network going and get these shows out there. And so I really commend them for doing that, for still working together, not only for their show, but for their kids.
Junior's laughing, Tessa. He's laughing. He's like, you just said our names. You know what? I'll say it again. Junior.
Is that the name that shall not be spoken?
Yes.
I know. I even thought about dragging their carcasses in here tonight.
You know what? I'm going to tell you like this. You know what I sense, Tessa? I hear a 210 calling. I sense a 210 calling.
Oh my goodness! Here I see a 206.
I know, but I'm getting this feeling like a 210 is calling. Give it a minute.
Oh,
give it a minute.
That's funny. So 206. Don't give up. I'm going to add you to my contacts really quick, and then add you to the call. But most likely I'll do it after break, so we don't miss your reading during the break, because I know a lot of times it's hard not to talk about your reading and such during the break. So 206, hang in there. We're going to be calling you here in about 15 minutes. Give it about 15 minutes, and I promise I will call you. But that's funny. Right as soon as you said, I feel a 210 number calling the 206 popped up.
Oh shit. Oh, yeah.
But I love the energy you guys have together and how you guys kind of bounce off each other. And yeah, I really get a lot of humor off of Junior, and Christina's over there hiding behind her cell phone, just giving him these looks occasionally.
You know what? I'm going to tell you right now, Tessa. She's giving them the look right now because she's like, Did he just say our name? I said yes, and I could already see them like that.
And she
They're
does
sitting
this.
down, and she's texting. And then they're watching TV, and I can already hear it. Like she said, like she's like looking at TV, and she's listening to the show, and then she's like, "Really, really?" And it's funny because I haven't got a text from her yet, but I'm pretty sure I will. And as a matter of fact, they're probably watching TV and eating, and she's just laughing her ass off, and she's just giving them the look like he just said our names.
Hey, you got to give a shout out to your friends.
And you know what, Tessa, I'm glad that you saw that Christina look, because that's when you give that Christina look, that means you're in trouble.
Yeah, I know. It's like she's behind her cell phone, but she looks over and quits typing all of a sudden and just gives him that look, and he keeps talking. Or if he talks to her or says something, she'll like put her phone in front of her face and like, not sure if I should answer that. I thought it was funny on the show last night. She said something, and there was a female on there who said, she talks, because she doesn't really talk a lot, you know? She uses her facial expressions for the most part, which really cracks me up, because I could tell what she's saying or thinking.
Yep. So.
There's a 210 number.
I told you.
Yeah. I'm going to have to add them as a contact because they're not contacts, and Skype really sucks ass at the moment.
Oh, my God. It's
but
so
you
funny.
guys, hang in there. I'm going to add you as a contact, and then we'll go from there. Add you momentarily because I know you're not calling for a reading. You're just calling to say, what the hell? What the hell, meow? All right. Hold on one second. This is like juggling, and I'm not a very good juggler. At least I can admit that.
Well, it's okay because we learn, and you know what? I'm the one that doesn't answer the calls when we get when we do it. I don't answer the calls, so I don't know how that works. So yeah,
well,
I can just imagine what you go through. I can just imagine what you go through when you.
Try not to, because I just kind of... Hello, Junior.
What's up, guys?
Wasabi.
What's up, Junior? Are you eating your fruit while Christina's giving you the look?
Yes. Guys, it's not cool. I can't even enjoy my dinner because it's like I hear Chris coming over here say he's probably watching TV right now, eating his dinner he just cooked, and then I'm going to be like, shout outs to Junior, and Tessa's gonna be like, yeah, shout outs, and then Christina's gonna be like at me like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm eating dinner.
She's like, I can't even eat my freaking dinner right now.
You know what? I'm Cristo. Like this. I can just tell you like this. When I said y'all's name, I know Christina has a remote and she's changing the channels, and she's like, yeah, let's watch this. And then you're like, no, I don't want to fucking watch that. And then you both agree on something.
It's just like, Christina's like, look, man, Junior's like Beetlejuice. That's it, you know. You say his name 3 times, he's going to come out of nowhere. Sure enough, Chris was like, Junior. She was like, Junior, Junior, Junior. I was like, it's showtime. Call in.
Nah, but I'm glad y'all are eating, so y'all can eat and listen to the show. And thank you for calling in.
What are you talking about? You're glad we're eating. You know, there's other people around the world that do not eat, Christopher. You should be glad that they're eating.
Yes.
True
okay,
that.
Mr. Beetle. Okay, Mr. Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice?
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go back to drinking my vodka and Red Bull.
Hey, I'll join you on break. I'll have a shot of that.
Oh, no. You drink Monster and vodka.
Yeah, because, bitches be broke these days, and that's all I can afford. I can't afford the Hornitos and Red Bull. I drink the Pinnacle and Monster.
I don't know, man. It's a good thing I work for one of the biggest South Texas distributing centers. That one bottle comes broken, it goes home.
With Junior, where it's loved and taken care of.
Yep.
Well, on that note, you guys, we do have to go to our first musical break, which we have Michaelin Hay, who is a Canadian high school phenom from Ontario, Canada, with Pins and Needles and Mirror. And then we have Prime Example, which Quest, the guy who gives us all our music, is a part of, with Dancing Machine. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
Talking on pins and needles, every word through a microscope. You keep stomping down on the ground while I've been stuck on this tightrope. I just wanna say what I wanna say without your sentence. I'm not willing to do the time when I'm innocent, and I'm innocent. Talking on pins and needles. Talking on pins and needles. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. Walked on my share of thin ice with your blowtorch at my feet. You won't ever see me beg, so take this tongue off your leash. I'm gonna say what I wanna say, don't need permission. Interpret it how you want, it's my decision. Talking on pins and needles. Talking on pins and needles. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. Dancing on shattered glass, kicking the pieces all around. My safety has been broken, this is now a hunting ground. Talking on pins and needles. Talking on pins and needles. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna
By the way, little mama, can we be friends? I came up this night just in. I really wanna know if I can see you again. Give me your number, we'll get back on the scene. We can hit another club if that's your thing. We'll be partners in crime, you and me, as we ripping up floors like two dancing machines.
Thanks for joining us this evening on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we are joined by the most famous Chris Garcia, as Junior would say. Welcome back, Chris. It's been awesome having you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. That's good to be back on. So
yeah,
I'm just excited. It's just crazy, all the vibes that we're getting tonight.
I love the energy. It makes me smile, like my cheeks hurt.
It's like you can't stop laughing. You're just like, yep.
So, on the line, we do have an area code 206. Who are we talking to?
Hi, guys. It's Nikki.
Hey, Nikki. What's up?
Nikki.
Hi. How you doing, Chris?
I can't believe it wouldn't just let me add you.
I'm feeling very energetic. Very energetic tonight.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm glad to hear that.
I know. I felt so bad because when I went on Chris's show, like I said, I was dragging ass and knuckles, and but tonight is awesome. I'm revived. We got a lot of good energy going on.
It's been a good show.
I call everybody out.
Lots of chuckles. Yes, you are.
Laughter is the best medicine, I must say.
This most definitely is true. Well, my dear friend, I've got a few questions for you.
Okay, go ahead.
This pertains to a subject I am beginning to become angry about, and you know me well enough to know that anger is not my thing.
Only when needed.
So yeah, exactly. And so my question is, when will I consciously see and remember them again? And that's an assumption that you remember some of the conversations we've talked about. I'm looking for a timeline.
I'm getting 2 years. Well, I don't know what Chris gets.
Well, with all the conversations that we've talked, I want to say like between 2 to 3. And I want to say like 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 2 to 3 months, which would probably be, I'm hearing more June. So that can probably be something that you're going to notice. But don't be surprised if there's going to be something happening sooner than that, which would be more like May. The latest would be June.
Yeah, just keep getting 2.
Okay.
And years is a lot, but like you said, it could be weeks, could be months, could be years.
Because sometimes when I see numbers, I see like 2 to 3 weeks, 2 3 months. It just varies with me. I usually see now. Most of the time, I'll see like a number, like one number. But this one, I see 2 to 3. So it might be 2 to 3 weeks from now, 2 to 3 months. And if it is possible, it can be like within the next year, which means it could be sometime in close. I want to say by February, if anything. That would be
Okay,
like the really, really latest of next year.
Okay, my next question, since that answer is, oh boy, will I be as angry like I am now at that point in time?
Well, I'm going to tell you what I just heard. I heard you're going to be angrier, is what I heard.
Well, the first thing that popped in my head is, are you planning on getting rid of your roommate? Because I think that has a lot to do with it. Like our roommates, for me, mine causes a lot of anger for me. Like I'll wake up and I'll be pissed off like right away, which is not me. It's just the energy that I get from her and her negativity and saying GD and JC. And I do cuss a lot, but I don't use the Lord's name in vain and stuff. I don't believe in it. And, you know, I think a lot of things in my household feed off of that sort of thing. But I wake up angry all the time. So I'm wondering, are you planning on keeping your roommate or will they be moving out? If you get rid of them, I could see the energy getting better because I don't pick up a lot of good things from that relationship.
I understand what you're talking about, but it doesn't revolve around, although I suppose it could, depending upon what takes place the course of this year. Mm-hmm. Especially with this side of the situation, which is completely brand new to me, because of memories and stuff. So my next question is, how many tags do I have now?
Okay, how many what?
Tags. TAGS.
I get 3.
That's funny you say that. I was going to either say 3 or 4.
One of them in my knee.
Mm-hmm.
One of them in my nose.
Mm-hmm.
Lower back.
You know what I was going to say is that when you said lower back, Tessa got like 2 in her knees and 1 in her nose. So she's got them on both knees, the right and left, and then her nose.
Yeah, that explains the nosebleeds throughout most of my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and low back. Tessa, did you say low back?
Yes.
Or was that Chris? Okay.
No, that was Tessa. That wasn't me. That was her.
Okay.
Yeah, I was getting lower back or like hip area. Like right in that area, like the lower back hip area.
Left or right?
Left.
Yeah, that would make sense. Okay. How many times a year am I removed from my home or from wherever?
I say within a year.
No.
Are you talking about like abducted?
Yes, correct.
Okay,
like 6.
I say that it happens every spring time.
I'm getting 6, so it's not like quarterly, but it's like every other month, or it could be a couple times per month, but I'm getting the number 6. And it's funny, like I'm generally not very confident about this, but after what we went through with Chris the other night, and he's like asking, what numbers are you getting, so on and so forth, and I was totally getting the numbers like almost every time. So I'm thinking 6. They could be far apart, they could be close together, depending on what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would make sense with some things. Okay. Chris, is it going to be the same ones I saw when I was little, or are they different now?
Different is what I heard. Mm-hmm. They're different.
I think they're a bit similar, but they are a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're talking the same species?
They're like the same
Or different
species,
race.
but I think they're the same species, but they're separated by their beliefs.
Okay.
What are you getting, Chris?
Oh, yeah, that's just what I was going to ask.
I think they're different, totally different.
Really?
They're not the same. Yeah, they're not the same.
Robert said the same thing as me. Same species, different group. Like same species, different belief. But I mean, it's hard to tell.
Okay,
really.
so then that leads to my question: do they look visually the same?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay, that's what I. That explains some things. Okay.
Mhm. And I'm going to tell you something too, Nikki. They are connected to the regular aliens. It's just that what makes them different is the tail. That's what makes them a little different. It's almost kind of like a lizard kind of species. But it's just what makes them different is the tail. But if you really cut that tail off, it's the same. It's the same beings. This one makes them
I think they've just tried to change themselves because they don't want to be the same. They want to be different because they believe differently. So they're trying to make themselves look different, and they've succeeded quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. And there could be reason why they're doing that. It's because they don't want people to, I guess, kind of remember them. So they want to have this kind of more weird, scary look to them. So.
And Robert said reptilian, which I was picking up on too, especially once you said tail.
So they could be a little bit different, completely different.
And he said, well, they
different
don't look
color?
any better in drag. Yeah, I think they try to show different colors, different features, different things like that. Like they're trying to genetically change themselves from what they were previously because they believe differently. They want to be different than this other species. Even though they're the same, they're trying to genetically mutate themselves to be different.
Am I dealing with the same female the entire time?
Yes. I feel you are. What do you get, Chris?
Okay,
I should just shut up until you say something.
I want to say that it could be the same female, but the energy feels a little different. It could be the same person from the very beginning, but for some reason, I think it's because she's researching and she's learning more. She's in advance, but her energy still seems the same, if that makes any sense.
Yes. Are they choosing... No, can't ask that publicly. But it would help a lot of women. Ay. I'll have to ask you that one privately. See, I think that was it. I think that was... Oh, will I find the right person to work this through with?
Yes.
Awesome. This year?
I heard next year.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was hoping the information I had was wrong.
But you're not.
Yeah, I hate that. Like it's gotta
There's
be
just
different.
certain things, you know?
Yeah. To make this better, it's got to be different, but a lot of times it's not. And that's why I hate reading myself. Like, it's hard for me because I try to make myself think it's going to be better than it really is, but I always try to fool myself, and it's better for somebody else to read me. Whose car alarm's going off? That was insane.
That's that's behind me, literally, and that's why I tried to hit mute fast enough. Didn't get there fast enough.
Yeah, what does it mean? It's funny synchronicities and how they happen. Does it mean something?
Yeah.
Is
Very
it just
possible.
coinky-dink?
You never know. It's all about timing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, thank you. I appreciate the two of you immensely.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you, sister. And if you want to talk more about this
you.
in the after party, feel free to, or we can talk a little longer if you have any more questions. Because I know it feels
I've
like
always
it's something
got a ton of
that's
questions.
something that's really bugging you, and we don't have anybody on hold at the moment. So if there's anything else you wanted to talk about, feel free to.
Yeah, actually, oh boy, let's see. My grandmother's been around a lot lately. And the only time she is around, and I've been hearing different messages from her, made a smart-ass remark I did not intend to make. It was one of those things where you think it in your head and you're like, damn.
Sorry, Grandma.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said afterwards.
Because they can hear you, even though you don't say it out loud, they can hear your thoughts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was never a smartass around my grandmother. Oh, man, I'd get in serious trouble even as an adult. if we, oh, man, different subject. Anyway, so she's not usually around all the time. And I'm, for whatever reason, I'm blocked to hear her. I can feel her. I can sense her words, but I'm not hearing her like I used to. Is there a specific reason for that, or a specific reason she's around more often?
I think, and Chris, you can talk first, and then I'll say what I think.
Okay, what was the question again?
Why is Grandma around more often now? And is there some sort of message that I'm missing from her? This is my mom's mom.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I know that this is not something that you want to hear, but it's that time. Mm-hmm. And you know that I'm very honest to tell you. But she's coming for your mom.
You're going to get the raspberries.
She's coming. Did you hear what I said?
I heard what she said, yes.
That's what I was picking up on, too. She's coming for your mom, and that's why the veil's getting thinner. And you can sense her. Your mom's getting these messages that you're not. You can try to communicate with your mom and ask, and she might even say without knowing what's coming through, but I think she's coming for her daughter.
She has a number of times talked about different things that only I would understand. Other people would take it as, this is mom's dementia, this is her Alzheimer's, this is how far she's gone mentally, and I know better because there are certain things I knew about my mom that I've never, until recently, real recently, said anything to anybody about. And my mom had her own abilities, but very different than mine or even my grandmother's. So she's coming around because it's closer to mom's time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What is it that normally I'm real good at prepping. You guys and I, we take death very differently because of our abilities and see things very differently. And so even though they're physically gone from our presence, they're not actually gone from us, if that makes sense.
Right.
So is there any message that she has for me that, for whatever reason, I'm not picking up on?
I'm going to tell you what I just heard when you were talking all this time. I got May and June. That I'm giving you a time frame of how long she has. Yeah, you are.
And I heard her say, it's going to be hard, but stay strong and you can get through this, and that'll help your mom get through it too. And I know it's hard to be strong, but there'll be a time where you can, not be strong and, cry and do all these things that you need to. But right now she wants you to be strong and be there for your mom. And then when she's gone, that'll be a good time to cry and mourn. But she's saying, be strong. You can do this. You got this.
And you know what I see that when she's
you're breaking up a bit.
Starting to cut in and out.
I'm being told that you will be with her, and you will be with her, and you will be hold to the other side.
That I'll be with her, and what?
You're gonna hold her hand to not be afraid to leave, and so in other words, you're gonna have your chance to say goodbye, and you're gonna have a chance to tell her you love her.
Ah, Okay.
And even though she's not going to be alone, it's important to have that living person beside her when it happens. Even though her mom's going to be there and she's going to be really excited to be reunited, it's going to be scary because that's the other side and it's kind of unknown to her. Because I feel like she was kind of hard on this side and not open to those things. But, yeah, her mom's going to be there and you're going to be there.
Yeah, and it's getting her through the... Oh, man. I just got told my Uncle Joe is going to be there for her. Okay. That just hit me hard. Wow.
Yeah, you'll be amazed because you're going to pick up on these things the closer the end of time comes. And it's amazing what she's going to say. It's giving me goosebumps right now just thinking about it. But the closer it comes to her time, the more people from her family are going to be here to bring her to the other side. And I'm trying not to cry.
My grandmother, both my uncle and my grandmother did the same thing, exact same thing. They, like a week before each one of them passed, and they both died within a month of each other. And how my mom used to say it, my grandmother called my uncle home. But they both saw and heard different family members literally 1 week before they passed, and all the way up to the day before they passed. It got stronger and louder, and they got stronger and louder about it. They were still very weak, but and I find that fascinating because that ran from mother to son, and I have a sneaking suspicion. I've always had this, like, gut suspicion, intuition, I don't know what else to call it, that my mom will do something similar. May not be the exact same thing. Well, the two of them, they were exactly. My grandmother and my uncle, wow. Stuff you hear as a kid and stuff you remember, wow. But they
and I'm picking
both
up
did
that
the same thing.
Your mom's dad's going to be there, but he's going to wait till the very, very end. He's been very quiet like this whole time, but he's going to show up. Yeah. He's still going to be really quiet, but he's going to be there.
He shows up periodically with me, and I'm like, hello. Because his personality is very, very strong, and so is his scent, because that's one of my clairs, is I can smell them, which is a weird, I'm here to tell you, if you have one of those abilities, you and I should talk, because I'm here to tell you, when you can smell a spirit as well as sense them, it's one of the most bizarre things.
I've smelled my dad, but it wasn't the camels or, the whiskey or anything like that, wasn't the camels or the tin high, it was the aqua velva. Holy shnikes, dude. Really? You want to share the aqua velva? I don't like that smell. Neither does my adopted mom. Like, we really hate that smell because of my grandpa, I think. But my dad would wear that because that's what his dad wore. And it was just like, God, I was changing, of all things, taking out the trash and changing the bag. And I was like, oh my God, like, I smell my dad in here. What the hell's going on? Like, why do I smell my dad? And it does. It takes you back to certain times and certain memories.
Yep. Very true. Yeah, because I'll sense them, and then, well, typically it's one or the other. I either sense them first and then smell them, or I smell them first and then sense them. And I'm like, hello, what you doing here? What do you want to talk about? And it's just like getting, every once in a while, one of the family members will hug me. They'll put their arm around my shoulders, and it's a real trip and a half. Because it's a wonderful feeling, don't get me wrong, and I dearly love it. It's one of the things I absolutely treasure.
And Mooney was saying, like, the stank.
To have family that does that, yeah.
When you smell the stank, like, that's generally not a good sign.
Different.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, because every person has their own that's the thing. Every person has their own. It's a body scent. I don't want to call it a body odor. It's not necessarily BO.
No.
It's you have a specific thing, and sometimes when they use like what you're talking about regarding your is your grandfather or your dad? No,
they
your
both
dad,
wore the
wasn't
same
it?
cologne, but I know it was my dad.
Yeah. See, years ago, after my dad first passed, I correlated a specific aftershave with him,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just became a specific body scent. And then because he's such a big presence, I mean, big personality, big booming voice. Oh, I'm talking booming.
Mm-hmm.
Enough to scare animals just by him laughing.
Right.
Because it's so
Yay!
much bass to it. Yeah, and it's just laughter, and it scared animals, but it which he didn't mean to do, of course. But yeah, when he's here, or if you walk into a room and you're like, oh, hello.
Yeah, and Sandra's
So-
saying like the smell sticks to everything, and it kind of does. It'll even stick in your nose
Yes.
for a little bit.
Yeah, there's a certain name for that. And then,
Yep.
Oh,
I think it's
folks who work with dead
everybody-
bodies.
clairsentient, but I keep thinking clairaudient, like the odor is just in my nostrils. I'll make up my own terms,
That's
okay?
like it sticks to the. Yeah, it sticks to the nose hairs.
It does. You're like, man, go away. That's awesome.
Yeah, there have been times
Yes.
where
that-
I've actually had to use mentholatum underneath my nose because
I just
You know,
bought some.
scent
that's
is so
funny.
strong.
I'm gonna tell you. One time I had, I think it was, we were going somewhere, and there was no air. And I'm not kidding you. I smelled tamales. I was thinking to myself, why do I smell tamales? And there was no air. And at the time, I was thinking, it's gotta be my grandma because my grandma used to make tamales. So, and then there was another time here in my room, I smelled kind of like a cologne.
Mm-hmm.
And then another time I smelled perfume, and I'm thinking, why am I smelling perfume? So I've had a weird occurrences, but a lot of people think that I've heard that when you smell perfume or cologne, that usually it's not your loved one. It's something that's kind of deceiving as your loved one. But I've heard that from different people. But I don't believe that. I do believe
Yeah,
it
me
is your loved
neither.
one. So I kind of, when they told me that, I was like, where are you getting this information from? Because somebody had told me this a long time ago that whenever you smell like cologne or a certain smell, that it's not your loved one, it's something else. But my personal belief in that, I don't believe that. I do believe it's your loved one. Because
Me
there's
too.
no way you can get that smell and it relates to somebody that passed away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're trying to
so
give
that
you
doesn't-
Especially
signs
if you don't-
that they're there, and these are ways they can show
Yeah.
you. Because, like I said, when you smell it, you get certain memories.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and especially if you don't have it if you don't have that specific scent in your environment to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing that could create that scent or that odor or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, nothing to
Yeah,
explain it.
Definitely. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I've heard
Exactly.
people talk about, like, back in the day, they'd use different oils, like mint oil or rose oil, certain things like that. You know who it is. You know who used that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And,
Well,
and that's, but
go ahead,
thank you for
Chris.
calling me. Thank you for
Yeah,
calling,
you're
though,
welcome.
Nikki.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the after party. I'm so
Always a-
excited because I want to talk more about this stuff, but we do have another caller holding.
You got it. Thank you, guys. I
Thanks,
appreciate
welcome.
Nikki.
it. Thank
I'm so glad you called.
Me too. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. All right, so we have an area code 425. Who's on the line?
You're talking to Robin.
Hello, brave Sir Robin.
So, how are you two tonight?
Doing
we're
good.
doing
Pretty good.
How are you?
Doing
Long
good.
time no talkie.
Yeah, I know. So I have a couple of questions.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm wondering how you see my life going for a couple of months from now.
Well, I see as you're getting busier, and I do feel like you're going to be doing a lot more research, is what I've been told that you've been doing and looking at. You're learning more about yourself and about what you want in life. I'm being told that you're going through this transition or this transformation of change. I think you're getting kind of tired of the same thing you're doing over. So I'm being told that your cycle is going to change. Your misdemeanor of thinking is going to change. And I see all this coming from March to May. So, yeah, you're going to be going through a change from March to mid-May. You're going to start noticing a lot of strange things during that time.
So, weren't you saying that you're going to have a surgery coming up soon?
Yeah.
And you said you're not scared, and I know you're kind of excited about it, but I'd be kind of taken aback too. Like, is this really going to work? Because your last doctor said nothing about it, but you have this new doctor, which gives you new hope. I'm hoping it works for you, because I know that what you've been going through has been holding you back from a lot of things that you want to do, like wrestling and doing your comics and all these other things.
Yeah, well, he also has his specialty, so
very
so
important.
So he kind of knows about a lot of different things.
So when is your surgery supposed to happen?
I haven't talked to the neurosurgeon yet, so. And I'll be doing that on March 10th.
So there's a change.
Mm-hmm.
There's a change. So that's probably what I'm picking up. And maybe May's probably picking up May is because that's going to be to where you're going to be able to do what you want. All the things that they told you that you couldn't do, you will be doing. You will be doing.
He's going to be like a new man. He won't even know what to do. He'll be like, holy shnikes, check this out. I'm excited.
So my second question is about my love life.
Mm-hmm. So what is it?
How do you see that going?
About your what? Your ex-wife?
Love life.
No, love life.
Oh, I thought you said your ex-wife. I was about to say, I was like, oh, crap.
He's like, I didn't even know you were married.
I know, right? But now, as far as your love life, it's funny that I'm being told, because I think during that transition, something in May will come also. And I'm being told that the person that's going to help you as you're able to, do the things that they said that you couldn't do, I'm being told that there's going to be someone that you're going to be attracted to. So there might be some therapy, I'm being told, that's going to help you. And I'm being told that you will be attracted to this woman. She's going to be working at the, I don't know why I've been told rehab or something similar to rehab. So I'm being told that you will see a girl there and you will be drawn to her and she will be drawn to you. And it's going to be love at first sight. So,
yeah, and I can see them meeting this year, but I don't see anything happening until next year. Take it slow, little baby steps.
Yeah.
And so, third question is that maybe you pick up on it too, but I feel like that I have a gift, but I'm not quite sure how to use it. But maybe you're picking up on that. Maybe you pick up on that too.
Okay.
I'm picking up on, I think we all have certain gifts, but I think with practice, it'll come to you. And after the surgery especially, it's going to open you up more. Like, just being under anesthesia, you go to the other side. You don't remember it. I never remember it. But things do change when you go through these certain large events. And I think something will open up and cause you to be more open than you were before.
To me, I've been told that, for everybody, I'm being told yes, we could be psychic, but to me, that's something that's totally different from everybody else, including Tessa. Well, my opinion is either you're inherited with a gift, it runs in your family, or you have near death experience. Now, anything in between that, yes, you can study it, you can try to enhance it, try to practice it. The only thing different is that you're gonna have to work harder for it, because you will get deja vu moments here and there, but it's not going to be as frequent as a open psychic that's had a gift since birth or has had gifts within the family. So that's what I believe in. Now, not to disrespect the other people, I do feel that they can get the gift, but it's just a little bit more research and it takes a lot more dedication. And the thing that I'm being told that with the ones that want to learn to be psychic or study to be it, they can, but it's just they need to overcome the fear of their insecurities, of getting things wrong, to trust themselves, what they get, to trust what they feel, and they just got to just go with it, just not to be thinking so hard and just let it flow, and that's what I'm being told, that they just need to just relax and let it flow. Now, as far as your gifts are concerned, I can agree with Tessa in the way you do have the gifts. The thing is that you're I'm being told, more empathic is what I'm getting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being told that you're very sensitive to your surroundings and your environment. You get precognitions, which means you get premonitions in your sleep. You also, which is weird because there's not many people that do this, but you have the ability to bilocate or bilocation, which I can do that too. The other thing you do is that I'm being psychometry, like when you touch an item, you get flashes of stuff. Like if there's a person missing or a lost item or something that you touch, you get different voices, you get different impressions. So I'm being told that you have the psychometry. So you might want to look into trying that and see what kind of advancement do you have. And then you might want to practice maybe reading a neighbor or reading a family member if they allow you to, and then just document everything that you get right.
Yeah,
and then
definitely
keep
keep
on
a
going.
journal.
Keep a journal.
So what is bilocate?
It's almost like astral projection. You just go like, oh, I want to go to England. Boom! You snap your fingers, you're there. That's not 1 second. You're just there. You just go wherever you want, wherever you think in your head. I want to go to California. Boom! I'm there. You're just there.
Okay.
So I have a question. Go finish your thought, Chris.
And that's what I feel by location. Now, astral projection might seem a little bit by location, but it's a little bit different because astral projection is where you're going willingly and you know where to go to. But by locating, you're going to certain places that you want to go to. It's not where you're being pulled. So,
yeah, and when you were talking about astral projection the other day when we were reading this guy on your show, Chris, I don't astral project. Like, I don't want to leave my body because I know there's things that want to hop in there. But I'm able to, like, close my eyes and see a place. And that's where, I saw the little girl in the nightgown and I saw the old man with the slick back hair and the big ears kind of hunched over in the upper back. But I'm not astral projecting. I'm just seeing it. What is that called?
To be honest with you, I don't know what that would be labeled as. I would say that in some way you might not say you're astral projecting.
Because I don't want to.
It could be, but I wouldn't say that it could be either astral travel or you're probably
astral
doing bilocating. It's actually almost like bilocating, almost similar to where just by listening to the voice or the person you're talking to, you're tuning into their voice and you're just going, whoop, you just go like a
Robert
loop,
just said,
so where.
Castral projection asshat.
Well, I don't know what that is, but
no,
I
he's
think
just making
me,
stuff up.
But that's what I'm sensing. It's more like between bilocating and where you're in tune to that person's energy when you listen to them.
So,
but it is close to astral projection, though. I will tell you that it's kind of close.
Yeah, I'm there and I'm seeing the environment, but I'm not like physically there, I guess spiritually, which is the same thing. I've accidentally astral projected a couple times and thought I was dead and crawled back in my body and I was back. But yeah, it just really scares me. So I don't want to do it, but I guess I kind of do. But brave Sir Robin, I have a question for you. So when you sleep, do you sleep well, or do you feel like you slept and didn't get any rest?
Sometimes I'm always awake at night and I don't get any sleep. And I sleep during the day.
Yeah, so I feel like when you go through this surgery, at the very end, your nurse that was there with you the whole time is going to tell you that she had to reposition your head a couple times because you quit breathing, and you may have to wear a CPAP or get checked out like a sleeping study after your surgery, because I think you quit breathing during your sleep and you kick and fidget a lot because you do have that sleep or that air deprivation where you do unintentionally stop breathing. So you kick and you fidget and stuff in your sleep so you don't get your full sleep. So I could see you after your surgery getting a CPAP. So that might implore you to start walking every day and start doing some sort of exercise to lose like extra weight and such.
Tessa, I'm going to stop you there, which is funny because I'll be having a sleep study.
You are? Good. Because I think you really need one. But try to start drinking more water and try to start walking every day, even if it's just 30 minutes to an hour. You know, just try to start walking every day and try to cut down on the processed foods. Try to eat greener and leaner. Try to look at things that have 10 items or less in the ingredients. Try to eat pure and try to get more exercise and drink more water, because I think that'll help a lot. And that might keep you from getting on the CPAP. But you might have to be on a CPAP for a little bit. But I think a sleep study is really something that you do need, because I was really picking up on that. I just keep seeing the nurse saying that she had to reposition your head a couple times because you quit breathing during the surgery.
Because when Chris mentioned that near death, I was really sick with when I was really young with meningococcal meningitis.
Can you tell me why you're bringing that up?
It could have to do with his breathing issues today, because he had that as a kid.
Oh, okay. I see. That's why he's bringing it up. You know what I'm going to ask you? I think the reason why you're bringing that up is because what I told you what my belief system is. And I do feel that when you got sick, I'm being told that you almost died, but you probably didn't even notice it. You were still in your body, but you left for a second, and I kind of being told that you looked at, when you were laying down on the bed, you saw yourself floating, and then you just took back, and you're just like, and then you were around, you were looking at everything around you, like what was going on. So you didn't know what it was, but I was being told that God was going to take you to talk to you for a second, but then he said, you know what, you're still needed here. So that's what I'm being told to tell you, is that you did have a near-death experience. And I just will tell you that that's very validating for me. So I just will tell you that you are gifted. It's just that with you probably never turned on your switch. But I do feel like it's inherited, so it should just come genetically to you. It shouldn't be like second guess, you shouldn't doubt yourself, because I feel like you do have it. I feel like you can tap into it. It's just that you need people to practice it, because I'm being told that you are genetically super sensitive. And and it's so weird in my head. This is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing like you running as a child. I want to say before, like, I don't know why, but I'm seeing this in my head. I'm seeing like you running into a field with a bunch of purple flowers, and you're just like, I can breathe. I can see you doing that. And then as you're running, I see you stop for a second, you pause, and I see like a hallway. Like you see from the field, you see like this long hallway, and you're curious about it. So you walk into it, and then you look back and you see the field, and you're like, okay, what am I doing? So when you go into this wall, this hallway, I see you turning to the right of you, and then I see you looking through the Aztec records, and you just start looking at other people's life, and you're like, wow, well, that person did this. And then when I see you trying to look into yours, because there's like a book with your name on it, you open it, and it's blank. Like you can't see anything. And then you back off, and then you're just like, you zoned out, like, where did I just go for a second? But you saw yourself in the field, but then from the field, you went into a long hallway, and then you came back from the hallway to the field, and you kind of questioned your insanity of, am I losing it, or is it just me? Well, I'm being told that it was you. You were not losing it. You were actually having, from this dimension, you went into the other side for like a second.
Yeah, the Akashic records. And it's because his story hadn't been written yet. And it was kind of up in the air what was going to happen.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I think the surgery is going to go really well. Like, I have a good feeling about it. I'm excited. I'm scared
I don't feel
because surgery to me is scary, but at the same time, I think you're going to get out of it what you've been looking for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
My daughter...
Just don't think so much about it.
Yeah,
Just
my daughter...
so much
she
about
had
it.
pertussis and whooping cough as a baby, and she almost died. And there was another baby named Nova that did die during that same time she had pertussis or whooping cough. She still deals with it every day because her immune system is so degraded, and she just cries sometimes and is like, I wish I could just have a normal life like everybody else. But I see this as being something that's really going to help you. But I do think you need to change your diet, get more exercise, even if it's a 30, 45-minute walk every day, and drink more water. That's very important. And the sleep study, you got to let me know what it says with your sleep study.
There are some times where I do get a rude awakening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just say just don't worry about it too much and just put prayer into it, put some healing into it, and just think positive and don't think of anything negative. Don't tap into the negative and just pray that God's going to take care of you and that you will get through the surgery and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
just,
happy thoughts.
Just don't think about it.
It's going to work out.
Thoughts.
It's going to be awesome. I'm excited. Can we fast forward? Can we fast forward to the future where we see the after surgery, Robin? I'm stoked.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm already ready to have it.
I know you are. I think you're more excited than we are, but I'm feeling that. I'm just super excited for you. But on that note, you guys, I hate to interrupt, but we do have to go to our second musical break, which we have Michaelan Hay, who is a high school phenom from Ontario, Canada. And then we have Miss Mystique, and she is from Milwaukee. And so, Devil You May Know by Michaelan Hay, I Want It All, and If I Slip by Mystique. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
Your troubled heart bleeds like a river. It's rushing towards fields painted greener. It doesn't see the demons behind, praying you're getting close to the line, so they can get their hands on love and trade it off for silver. The curtain's nice, but what it hides is worse than sticks and stones. Before you climb the fence tonight, look through the microscope.
Yeah, okay. I want it all. Even if you stepping out of bounds, keep ballin'. I want it all. Diamonds and cars, building big yachts, close up the stars, buying the bars. On it is ours. I want it all, big or small. No more of a downfall. I want it all. I want it all. I want it all. I could sign your baseball. Money making it rain fall on a big mall. Owning the whole block, driving to the mailbox. Cruising in my yacht, I gotta get up out this box. I want it all. I always knew that I would be rich, don't doubt for a minute. Speaking to existence, hoping and feeling to give away $1 million. Just be chilling in the tallest building. Say hello to the mission and vision with me. Hello. Watch cost about 150 Rolex diamond luxury city. Next to Movado, motto cocked it before the arrival. Lamborghini with bass high, I could hear it all. Sit back, sun roof up, is the stars. High performance car, super saloon, exclusive rims spinning hard. Always wanted to build a park. Obstacles to enter, a lot more for the kids. Recreation centers, I want it all. Red bricks, cream coated, painted marble fountain as I pass. Walking the stone path, heated pool, home theater for all of my family. Wanna do it for my city. Can't wait to see the chandeliers hanging from the ceiling. I want it all. Diamonds and cars, building big yachts, close up the stars, buying the bars. On it is ours. I want it all, big or small. No more of a downfall. I want it all. I want it all. I want it all. I could sign your baseball. Money making it rain fall on a big mall. Owning the whole block, driving to the mailbox. Cruising in my yacht, I gotta get up out this box. I want it all. I'm inside of a dungeon, life involves repercussions. Could vista consequences leave me boxed up, feeling suction. How could this bad mistake have me thinking ways to escape? Catching the case, wanting it all has been replaced. Look at a cellmate face, I know they can't relate. Trust in the soul, heck no, it's to stay safe. Up in the place where my food is cold on my plate. It ain't no breaks, it's a time to concentrate. Watching my back, got stabbed by too many snakes. Who times dragged against the bars is the rude away. Mind race, body cold, hard to embrace. The situation made me think, why did I misbehave? And common sense of being solved in so many ways. During the problem thoughts, I forgot I want it all. Forgot I had a dream to rule it. Forgot to remember that all my fans had a thought that I can have it all. I want it all. Staring at the walls, walking down the halls, wait for my collect. Call supposed to be at a concert hall. Instead, I want it all behind bars. Can't reach for a star. It's a fear. I want it all. 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 Diamonds and cars, building big yachts, close up the stars, buying the bars. On it is ours. I want it all. Big or small, no more of a downfall. I want it all. Diamonds and cars, building big yachts, close up the stars, buying the bars. On it is ours. I want it all. Big or small, no more of a downfall. I want it all. I want it all. I want it all. I could sign your baseball. Money making it rain fall on a big mall. Owning the whole block, driving to the mailbox. Cruising in my yacht, I gotta get up out this bodice. I want it all. Mystique. I got dreams and ambition, I'm ready and I'm willing. I'm meeting this competition, you don't wanna be my dinner. The whole shift changed when the music bang. Love the look on their face. I got dreams and ambition, I'm ready and willing. I'm meeting this competition, you don't wanna be my dinner. The whole shift changed when the music bang. I just love to see the look on their face. And if I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was cause I know they watching. Don't understand the talking, tell that dog to quit barking. I'm an entrepreneur, so correct when you talking. Bet I get it back and take a loss to be a boss. Coming fast and I'm switching lanes with it. Crisscross, never messing with you, rapping ratchets, what you really thought. And my jab steady dreaming, chasing missions for the fam. Understand I'm flowing lands from the Milwaukee brand. Thought you knew you can't wear my shoes, not do what I do. It's a mob, I don't pick or choose, just stick it to the rules. Keep my beast above and beneath. They know I'm beauty. What you need, I got what you need when it come to it. Who been grinding all winter so the summer extra lit? I've been in and out the booth trying to weigh up my greatness. It ain't no time to play with it, and if I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. I got dreams and ambition, man. If I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. I'm ready and willing, even if I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. I'm eating this competition. If I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. You don't wanna be my dinner.
With great precision, I'm on a mission. Lots of ambition, my transition. The time was ticking, willing and wishing. Just listen, I punch harder than Sonny Liston. They fishing, looking for teeth. It look like Lipton. They tripping. I am the king. Who's competition? Collisions. Conclusion is I'm in a position. Lifted, transcending beyond their comprehension. Time to hang it up. Swaggerific, the lynchman. You know how this goes. Just follow the street codes. We make it look easy like we putting in cheat codes. Beauty and the beast is in beast mode. Haters on the sidelines, I tell them to keep score. I go crazy on the beat, tell Spaz to keep it low. You know Mystique close with a toaster, you won't toast.
And if I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. I got dreams and ambition, man. If I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. I'm ready and willing, even if I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. I'm meeting this competition. If I slip, I'ma bounce right back, cause I was born for this. You don't wanna be my dinner,
Welcome back, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Right now, we are joined by the most famous Psychic Chris Garcia, as Junior would say. And I'll say Junior, because if I say it at least 3 times, he must show up because I have summoned him. Hopefully he's not sleeping. He probably woke up like, what the hell? Who just summoned me?
Yeah.
So welcome back, Chris, and thanks so much for doing readings tonight. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's a beautiful energy to it, and then and I just got a question. I don't know if Robert's. I got a question, and I'm not gonna say where it's coming from, but Robert, if you're listening, I got a question for you. Someone said, "Did you go to somebody's house from the show that I do?" Somebody wanted to know if you astral projected to anybody that does a show that does a show with me or anybody within the network. I mean, I was told to ask if you astral projected to somebody's home and probably didn't know who it was. It was just a question that somebody was asking me on Messenger. I'm not going to say who it was, but they were asking if you astral projected to the person's house or you bilocated or anything of that nature. If you can answer that in the chat room or just just call in if you want. So, yeah. Because it was somebody that was curious about.
So I'm picking up on this person we summoned. Junior, are you there?
You guys rang?
We rang.
So, but like I
was
said,
telling me, she's like, they said your name. I was like, good, as long as they don't say the other thing. She's like, and here comes Tessa. Junior, you're Junior. Damn it.
I knew it would work. I had faith in you.
Yeah, but for Robert, if you want to answer that question in the chat, did you astral project to anybody on the Global Enlightenment Radio Network?
He said once to Dwayne's place, once to Junior's, and once to that caller's place, which was Infermo's.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, then. Okay, well, then the person that asked the question, there's your validation.
There you go.
There you go. So he did astral project.
Oh, hopefully they understood what's inside my house, because there's a lot of bad things in this house.
I got that going on too. Like, I feel so bad that I was so drained the other day because I had a full weekend of doing the show and stuff, and Mondays are really hard for me. But, I almost slept through the show, but I woke up, 39
Towards
minutes
the
early.
End of it.
39 minutes early, got up. My voice wasn't there. It finally came back. There were so many things like against me for doing the show, but I was there. But still, I wasn't like my full self. But I was talking about my house and the different things that are here. And
your doppelganger?
Yeah, my doppelganger. That's just one of the things. But John, who lived here before, he's a really cool guy. But we do have negative things coming in. And things that have attacked my animals. Like my kids witnessed, we have a Mastiff pity mix. They witnessed this dog lifted all the way up to the ceiling and then slammed down. And then my dog Gilly, she lived to be like 19 years old. She was not only shoved into this shelving area in the hallway, but this thing shoved her into the toilet. And my daughter Nova takes after my grandma Nova. My grandma was like 6 foot whatever, quite a hefty gal. She's Irish. And she's trying to pull Gilly out, and Gilly's only maybe 60, 70 pounds at this point, trying to pull her out of the toilet, and she cannot get her out of the toilet. So she's screaming and yelling. Generally, if you flick on a light switch, you open my door, anything, I hear it, I wake up. That's just my military training. I didn't hear anything because I think whatever this was didn't want me to hear it. But she was screaming for help. So Davy Joe went in there. So we have 2 teenagers, a month apart in age, trying to pull this little dog out of the toilet. And finally, they pulled so hard that they broke her free, and she got, kind of slung across the room. But I mean, these things come in, attack our animals. I'm just glad they haven't really attacked the kids. But I don't know if it's because we do have that gift that these things are drawn to us, but sometimes they're good, sometimes they're really not good. And I have an even creepier story for you too later on.
I have no idea how my dogs do this, but every single one of them they are. And I do know that, some animals are overprotective, but my dogs really take the cake, because my entire life people have given these bad raps, but I've never had a problem with them. I breed and train pit bulls, and they're the most gentlest dog to me ever. They're like kids. Mm-hmm. But on one occasion, I had one that was I'm like 5'9", 5'10". So this pit bull was as tall as my hip. It was a pretty big dog. Weighed about 150 pounds, was mean as nothing. And there was nobody outside. We're outside. It's like 2:30 in the morning and nobody's there. And my dog comes out of nowhere, and he's sitting next to me, and he starts raising hell like if he's going to bite the head off of somebody. And then I see the look on his face where it's not his face, but it's something else. And then you just get that rotten egg smell coming out of nowhere.
Wow.
Which is not a good smell.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what animals can see, whether it's cats or dogs. They have something going on in their cornea and such that has a different makeup than ours, so they could see more things than we can see. Like my cat Wonky, before he was... No worries. Bless you. before he passed away, he was actually killed by our puppies and our mastiff. Once they get together, they kind of get this pack mentality, and it's fun to play with the cat, but they accidentally hurt him. But he was like, his head was jutting around like he's watching something flying around, and then he goes underneath my chair and he's peeking out from in between my legs and watching this thing fly around. And right at that moment, my roommate, Brian, was like, I just saw the weirdest thing, like up at the ceiling. It was like the silver sparkly thing, kind of like tinsel, but electric. Like it was sparkly, 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 and then it was gone. And we had so many different pictures while we were decorating the tree and stuff of these different orbs and such going on. And generally when I see something like that or I hear something like that, I don't think of it as negative. But it's amazing what things can come in to your home because you do have that gift. And they're like, well, this person can hear me or help me, or perhaps I can torture this person. It's insane what we kind of put ourselves out there for.
Mm-hmm. I think we're more receptive to a lot of strange things. And by the way, just for the people that don't know who Junior is, he's my co-host on the Housewalker Files with Christina. With Christina. And as
given the
Junior
look.
would say, the most famous psychic. The most famous psychic Chris, as Junior would say.
Yeah, I just used your line, Junior. I have to admit, I might have to pay you something for that. But I was like, the most famous Psychic Chris Garcia.
So, what the fuck was that? Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Now, hold on. I better go lock my door because I heard it come from the outside.
Was it like a
they
knocking?
They heard a knock.
Yeah, I heard it too.
No, it was like a knock, but it sounded like rumble.
I heard it wasn't exactly a knock, but it was like boom, boom, kind of like a body hit and a head bounced.
You know, remember that first show? That's when I did, when you heard the knocking on the wall. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
That was loud. Everybody heard that. Everybody was like, what the hell was that? And I'm like, I do not know. But then at the time, but I knew it was my ancestors letting her presence know. She's like, okay, I'm right here.
Yeah, it was amazing. So many weird things happened that night. We had a lot of energy going on. You remember that one show that we did where you went for a vacation and you weren't sure if you could make the show and you were like outside and then you heard things like running all around you and stuff?
Yeah. That was weird too, because that time I didn't know if I was going to have reception. And at that time I didn't even have the Housewalker File show yet. I was just a guest on it. I was just doing different shows and stuff, and so it's crazy how within that time the opportunity came. I took it with Daryl because Daryl's known me for a long time, and he had told me, he goes, "We're gonna put a show. You know, you're gonna be the host." And he never asked me for a co-host. He never said nothing. He goes, "We'll just put you." And it was weird because the time span was just kind of strange because I already knew Christina and Junior, and I didn't tell my producer Daryl anything. I didn't tell him a thing. And then I called him one day, and I remember saying Junior, and he's like, "What?" He's like, "Are y'all busy?" He's like, "No, not really." He goes, "Why?" And I said, "I'm gonna ask y'all something." And then I said, "Where's Christina?" He goes, "Oh, she's right here." And I said, "I want to make sure you both hear me." And I said, "Would you want to be a part of my show, of the co-host?" And he was like, he paused for a second. He's like, "What? Are you kidding me? No, for real. Are you playing with me?" I said, "No, I'm serious." And then he was like, then he said yes. And then I heard Christina says, "Hell yeah." And then after that, I got a hold of Daryl. I talked to Daryl, and then Daryl said, "Oh, that's cool." And then we started in December, and we've been on since then. And it's crazy. It was just an opportunity, and I added them because, you know, I don't know what it was. I guess I just empathically felt that I wanted them to be a part of it. So I brought them along with me, you know, with the success that I had. So I said, you know what, I'm going to bring them with me. And I did. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't regret it. Not one moment do I think that I said, no, I shouldn't have done that. No, I really, really enjoy it. And it's funny because it became something so small, and it's grown so big within 2-3 months already, and it's just the opportunity it's just a blessing in itself. And then even on top of that, when we don't do the show, I still interact with them, I still talk to them, I still help Christina's mom and dad. I guess you could say Christina and Junior, they're like, because my mom already said that my mom said that they're her kids. So she told them to take care of me, and Junior goes, okay, I'll take care of them.
We got to have a family reunion or family communion, like where we all get together.
Yeah.
That means you would have to come down.
You would have to come down.
It's not too far away.
You know what,
and
Tessa? Maybe you can come
to the magic time machine.
Yeah, maybe you can come down here, and maybe you can meet my mom, and yeah. It's just, we always have a good time, and
I can't wait to meet all you guys. It's funny, just the different energies I pick up on. And Chris, with your show, like, had you done it alone, I think it would still be amazing. But I think just having Christina and Junior on there is like the cherry on top. Like, it just makes it perfect, and it makes that energy so much brighter and better. It makes you not feel so like odd or kind of out of place. I think it makes you feel like family.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because that's exactly how I took it. I mean, because I could have done it by myself, but I said, you know what, I'm not going to do this. I cannot just think of me. And I didn't. I thought of them. And I can tell you the truth, before I called them, I kept seeing them in my head. Like, I kept seeing them, and I'm like, well, that's weird, because I talk to them all the time, and I'm thinking, why do I keep seeing them in my mind? And then I heard my grandma come through, and she says, you know why. And then, like, after that, I called them, and I let them know. And we got everything situated, and the producer, I need a picture of them, and this and that, and yeah,
I love that picture your mom took. Like, she takes all your pictures, right? And that picture was just awesome. It was funny. I have to say one thing. Okay, so Junior and Christina, for a little bit during the show, had the picture of all of you guys together, but you could still see them in the background. But it was funny, and I don't know if this is some sort of filter or if this just happened. But as I saw Junior through this picture, I know he has a mustache already, but his mustache was like more pronounced. It was like more machismo, you know what I mean? Like, like holy shnikes! Like, I don't remember his mustache being so pronounced before, and then it went off and it wasn't. So I was like, was that like a mind trip or what?
Honestly, I want to say that was a mind trip.
It's actually a video effect that Daryl and Katie taught us. She's like, you got to have a clean background, and it works just fine. So we tried. We were like, holy hell, it worked. Yeah,
it's like you went from Junior to like machismo Junior. I was like, what the hell? Where'd that mustache come from?
And you know what? I'm going to tell you what's so weird, too.
It's my dream stash right there. You know, the ones that you can win competitions with.
And I'm going to tell you what's so weird. And I'm going to tell you something, too, Tess, because I'm going to tell you, of all the times that we've talked, and this is what's so strange, I don't know why, but okay, when I met Junior and Christina, it was back in June of last year, okay? So we've known each other
for almost a year now.
Almost a year, okay? And the first time I met him, it was, when did I meet you, Junior? The first time? It was in, when?
It was like during honestly, true story, you know, me and Christina were going through a tough time in life, and I had nowhere else to turn, no one else to blame. I really didn't. I was going in circles, and I felt like somebody or something was doing something to make my life, our life, shit go sideways quick. So I was just on Facebook relaxing, and then I see this group that I know out of a small town where I live share Chris's, you know, information. I was like, I just comment on the page. I would so like, you know, I need one of these in my life right now. The next day, Chris calls me, and he's like, look, man, you don't know me. I don't know you, but this shit's for real. So I need you to put me on speaker, and we're going to go at this. And it was just life ever since.
And we clicked, and then it was weird because it took us a while for us to meet, even though we met.
That was like for us too. Like, Chris called me, and then it was like ping pong. We couldn't get a hold of each other, and then finally we did, and then it was just like, Perfect.
We clicked.
Like family.
We clicked. Yeah, we just clicked. And it's weird because I'm going to tell you like this, and I hope I don't get emotional, but I'm going to tell you what the reason why I'm bringing this up, Tessa, is because we had seen, one time I saw Junior for the first time, and I didn't shake their hand. I didn't even hug them, because I was real nervous. And I told Junior, I said, I'm picking up all this weird stuff.
Yeah.
And it was weird because I could have taken the picture at that time, but, because my mom takes good pictures, and I didn't do it.
His mom's the one that actually scared us the most because he's like, my mom really doesn't hug nobody, but, she has her way of dealing with her gift. And he's like, she has to touch somebody. Okay, so she full-on gave Christina here like a full-on body, what's up, hug? And she's like, hi, I'm Chris's mom. And she shakes my hand and she like let go right away. And I was like, oh, crap, here we go.
She's like, ah!
I knew this was coming.
And then it was weird because I had been wanting pictures with all of us, but it was like June was working. And how it came about was when, how did we do? Oh, yeah, I went to Christina. Yeah, I went to Christina's house, Junior's house, and Christina's house, and Christina was there. And I told her, I said, we're on our way. And I told her, I said, where's Junior? He's like, he's still at work, but he'll be there. He's going to go after that, right? So we're there, and I'm just walking all around, and we drove to their house, to hit, Christina's mom and dad's house, right? So we're just driving, and my mom's like, where do we turn? I said, you're going to make a left. I told Christina, I said, we're going to make a left. So we go all the way down, and I'm just driving, and I'm like picking up all this stuff, but I didn't say nothing. So right when you get off, I was like so anxious to get off. I don't know why. I just felt this weird feeling over me. Then I walk up, and everybody's like, oh, nice to meet you again. And then Christina goes, well, he's going to be here in 5 minutes. And then 10 minutes later, oh, he's on his way. And I'm like, really, Christina? I said, when is he coming? She was sitting on the chair, and she goes, he's coming. Just wait. So
I just feel like he was having some sort of panic attack.
Yeah, and then after that, I was just walking all around the premises, and then he pulls up, and I looked at them both, and I'm thinking, this has got to be it. This has got to be the damn day. And I looked at my mom, and
you knew them before?
No, I had, like that right when I met them, I already clicked. I knew like I met them, like I've known them from somewhere. And like that day, I looked at my mom, and my mom's like, what? I said, Mom, you need to take this picture. I said, I've been wanting this picture of us three. And I said, you have us here together. Let's do it right now. So she took a picture. We didn't even stand a certain way. We just stood just the way we wanted to. With my soda in my hand, of course, because I love soda. Junior crossed his arms, and Christina just leaned, just being relaxed herself. Took the picture, and then when I looked at the picture, and I said, wow.
That's perfect.
We came out good, right? And then as she took the picture, I started getting images in my head, and I said, oh, my God. I said, this is
like
it. Like
future
right
images?
Yeah, I started getting pictures of T-shirts, picture frame, and all this stuff, and I said,
I can see a poster.
This is going to be our logo. This is going to be our logo. And I told Christina, I said, this is going to be our logo, because we kept sending different pictures. Like Junior sent me all these good pictures, right? And I liked them. I ain't going to lie to you. I liked them. But to me at that particular time, I said, you know what?
He liked them.
I want
they
a
just
picture
weren't
of,
right.
They were just not right, because I wanted a picture of us. I wanted a picture of us.
He wanted to put the Stranger Things template on there. I was like,
it's right back here. With Chris is the girl.
No. And you know what? That's funny too that you say that, Tess, because I'm thinking maybe later on, if we still use that logo with our pictures, with the T-shirts, who knows? We might end up using stickers. We might use a big poster.
Yeah, I can see it as a poster. Like, I want that poster. Yeah. And you can take that picture to Walmart or even do it online and make a poster of it. I want one.
What would be the biggest size do you think I can get if I do it? What would be the biggest size?
You just tell them you want it turned into a poster, and they'll make it into a poster.
Now, you can go online.
You want it as a what?
On fathead.com and make, just stick it on the wall.
I'll have the actual cutouts of the bodies. Dude, I'll have that in my room, and my husband will be so creeped out, like, what the fuck is this? You know, that's Chris and Junior and Christina. You know, that's my family.
He's gonna be like, "This has got to go."
He's gonna be like, "I can't sleep. These guys keep staring at me."
You know, that's funny you say that because you know what? That's so weird.
You know, if someone actually did that, right? Someone that actually listened to our show, they put it up, right? Their wife puts up our poster on the wall, like they go full-size body cutouts, right? And her boyfriend comes in, and he's like, "What the hell's that?" He's like, "Yeah, that's the show I watched. Remember I showed you?" "Oh, yeah, those guys are cool." And then later on that night, they're going to do something. He's like, "You know what? I can't perform. Someone's looking at me."
Right? She's like, "That's the show I watch." And he's like, "That's the show that watches me. Holy shit, I can't do it."
You know what? You know, that's funny. I'm going to tell you something, too. That's funny that Junior's bringing that up because I'm going to tell you what happened to me. This happened to me years ago, and a lot of people told me this, but I still don't want to believe it, but then I kind of do. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but there were some profiles. I'm not kidding you, Tessa. And it was even one time I looked at one of my pictures, but this was way before I met Junior and Christina. One time I was like looking at my Facebook, right? And I kid you not, one of my friends says, "Chris, go on your Facebook." And I'm like, "Why?" They said, "Go check your Facebook." And I'm like, "Why am I going to look at myself? That's my damn profile."
Look at your Facebook,
Go
Chris.
look at. I know, right? So then when I went to go look, I looked at my profile because it was an old picture that I had with my scarf on, you know, with the chip coffee scarf. And I kid you not, my head was moving in the damn picture. And I was like, so then...
You're like, is this some sort of effect or what?
I know, right? So then after that...
Wait. That's nothing. Christina takes pictures. There's a blur in the background right next to her.
Yeah, and it's
when
weird.
I take pictures, this is why I don't take pictures, because there's a black mass.
Yeah.
And you see it. It's noticeable.
It's weird, though, because, you know, when I look at the pictures, even the one with us, I could swear, like, when I have it, because I have one on the wall, and I could swear, like, our heads are moving. And I'm thinking, okay, here I go again. Now, it's not just me. It's all
You're like,
three.
Maybe I didn't get enough sleep or something. Can you look at this? Is this picture moving, Mom? Mom, come on, tell me this picture's not moving. She's like, "Son, that picture's moving."
I would have been like, "Holy shit, that was a lot of LSD, ladies and gentlemen. This picture's moving."
Who made the shroom tea?
You know, but seriously, I'm not kidding. There's the times where I looked at different people's pictures and their head would move, and I'm like, what the hell? And now that I look at our picture and it's our logo, I am not kidding you. There's times where I feel like our heads are moving like real slowly, and they're like,
they're looking at you.
I'm like, okay. I know. I'm like looking at myself. I'm like, I don't want you to see what I'm doing.
Well, it's like
or
Junior was saying the other day. Like, you know, he'll turn around from the mirror, and the mirror is still looking at him. His own person looking at him. Like, you only see that shit on videos. Like, that's scary shit, Junior.
Chris, you want to tell her? I don't know, Tessa. Were you ever watching our show when we had Keith Johnson on there?
No.
Oh,
no. Okay. Well, Keith Johnson happens to be the founding father of TAPS Paranormal.
Yes.
From Sci-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's also a demonologist, and he actually he's the one that actually and he actually scared me along with another person that watches our show out of small town USA, northern Texas. He said that him and his wife actually reviewed one of our like they rewatched one of the shows online because they can't watch while we're on. And he's like, somebody started doing something, and he's like, everybody just put their heads down. Oh, I think they were doing a prayer or something. I have no idea. And then he says that he looked straight at me on the screen, and he says my face started to contort.
Yeah, and your horns started coming out.
Pretty much. And he's like, and then you started moving in an odd way, and you started popping, like, it looked like you were popping your bones. And I was just like, well,
it's not the whole, like,
the whole world knows.
Right? It's not the whole pop, lock, and drop it. It's like the uncomfortable popping and, you know, the vertebrae going different ways they shouldn't, and your skull, like, moving certain ways it shouldn't. Yeah, my family's witnessed that, too. It's insanity. How do we fix it? I don't know. Chris, maybe you're our savior.
You know what?
No,
I'm gonna tell you.
Like, told me. Chris, how many people did you say if I got one of those things? How many people you said they would need?
I think there would probably be more than 10.
And they better be bigger than me if not.
Yes.
Well, I think not only Junior needs help with that, but I do. Because, like I said, when I was like 5 or 6, I saw the devil. Shortly after that, what I referred to as kobolds, because that's a lady that I worked with said they were called kobolds, but when I look online, they're not. They're like little goblins, like little demon goblins. Like shortly after I saw the devil, one night I'm in bed trying to get to sleep. Everybody else is sleeping peacefully. I can never get to sleep early. Like, I swear to God, my bedtime these days is still 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. But I saw this light coming through my window. And then all of a sudden I started hearing this chanting noise. So I creep down my bed, I peek out the window, and I see in the chicken yard, where the chickens are and the chicken coops and so on and so forth is, I see this bonfire. And I see these little goblin guys dancing around the bonfire. Some of them have drums and they're banging on their drums. Some of them have spears and other weapons. And they're all doing this chant that I don't understand. And then all of a sudden... Yeah, they're like gremlins, and that's exactly what they look like, except for their ears are a little shorter. And they all stopped at once, and then they turned and looked at me, and as soon as I saw them stop to turn, I fell back in bed, and, you got that shield of sheets and blankets, slung myself back in bed, pulled up the sheets and blankets, pretending like I'm sleeping, and I'm looking on the wall, and I see these shadows getting closer to my window, and I hear them scratching at my wall, and they're looking through my window, and I'm just like, pretend like you're sleeping. They're not going to find you. Pretend like you're sleeping. And then shortly after that, my brother was chased through... Oh, sorry, my husband needs the keys. But my brother was chased through the house every night, being chased by these things. And he'd run the same course through the house. And my granny, she had the living room. She had, I call it the pantry room because it's very large. It has all kinds of baking goods. And in the middle of this pantry room is a stove. And then there's the kitchen, which has a little 2-inch step. So he'd run out of his room into the living room, back through the pantry room, into the kitchen. Every time he came back into the pantry room, he'd trip over that little 2-inch step. And the very last time he did, my grandparents caught him, and they looked, I swear to God, they looked into the direction that these little gremlins, like you said, Junior, because that's exactly what they looked like, except for their ears were a little shorter. They looked at them, they held him, and then he kind of collapsed in their arms. And after that, no matter what, he was in trouble. He was always in trouble, and he had the purest heart, but no matter what, he could not stay out of trouble, and still today. And he won't even talk about it. And I know what I saw, and I know what happened, but he will not talk about it.
Yeah, because it probably scared him. You know what I was going to say, Tessa? I want you to think about this for a second because I had an image in my head. What do you think about a blanket with a picture and logo on it? Because I just kept seeing that in my head. What about a bed cover?
Well, he was talking about the life-size things, but my husband's really going to get pissed on that. And you're like, really? You going to wrap up in these dudes? Hell yeah, this is my protection. This is my shield from all the darkness.
I can just imagine.
He's gonna be like, he's gonna look at Chris. He'd be like, "That one I understand can be your shield, but the other guy, no, that's pure darkness."
I'm like, this is my blanket.
Just think about it. I can just imagine
my shield from the darkness.
I could just imagine people are going to be looking at that blanket. Some people are going to think it's cool, and then the others are going to be like, really? You're going to sleep with these people?
It's like the light side and the dark side and the mid side, all in one. So Chris is the light side, Christina's the mid side, and Junior's somewhat the dark side. Even though he's a really good guy, and I pick up on a lot of, humor and stuff from him. He makes me laugh. He makes me smile. Come to the dark side. We have cookies. Or we have tamales.
Oh my God. Just imagine that.
We got tamales on the dark. We have snacks and drinks on the dark side, ladies and gentlemen.
He's like, come to the dark side. We have margaritas and tamales.
So what do you think about that? What do you think about that, Junior? Us being on the blanket.
Christina would be the first one to use it.
Right?
Are you serious?
She'd be peeking out there, giving the look.
Ask her.
You
Ask
know,
her if she. Ask her and
she's
see what she says.
She's probably already on the line with some people from Mexico that make the blanket. She'd be like,
I
I
think she's already got one.
Oh.
I think she's already got one, but it's under the other blanket, so you don't even see it.
Ask her if she would order a blanket and see what she says. Ask her, see what she says.
Chris wants to know if you get a blanket of her picture.
She's like, oh, fuck no.
She says she doesn't know. She says she don't know yet.
She's going to be like, oh my God, I'm laying on ourselves. That's not going to look right.
Merry Christmas birthday giving. Here's your blanket of insecurity.
I know, right?
Right? Could you imagine somebody getting a blanket with their face on it? I got it at the cool store. She'd be like, who the hell are these guys?
Junior, I have a question. So you said Gremlins. Have you seen these guys too? Or am I the only one?
That's the only reason why I call them Gremlins, because I've never seen the movie Gremlins until I was like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11. And
yeah, me too, like after it happened.
Yeah, and, you know, I actually saw them between like the ages of 5 and 6, but at that time my mom and, you know, stepdad were like financially stable, so we would bounce around from house to house to house. You know, because he would like find a house to rent. We'd stay in there for maybe 6 or 7 months, and then something would happen, and we would have to move again to another house. And the funny thing about my parents was, you know, they would move an entire house in 48 hours.
Mm-hmm. And that's quite a feat.
Yeah, and it, you know, and as for me, it takes me like a month just to pack my house.
Oh God.
Let's just move it. So it's just like, I don't know how they did it, but I know in one of our houses I did see them. You know, I thought it was just my imagination, but I would see like these little creatures, shadows on the wall as they would crawl. Like you would see them walk past the door, then the door would open up and you would hear them chatter.
Yes,
and
I hate that.
To me, like now, to me, when it's the chattering sounds like Kevin and Bob from the Minions.
Mm-hmm. Kinda, but creepier.
You know that but as like a creepy voice, but as like the Minions, the way the Minions talk is the way they sound. It was some weird, bizarre language you didn't understand.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to. That's amazing. So, were you in Texas this whole time?
Yeah, I've never left the state of Texas.
So at the time that I saw these, I was in northern Arkansas. And when I looked online to figure out what they were, when I was 21 years old, I shared this with my coworker from Best Western. And I was telling her about seeing the devil and then shortly after seeing these kobolds, which is what she told me they were. But when I looked online just recently, because I'm like, okay, I need to do my homework, are these really kobolds? When I looked under kobolds, they look more like gnome-ish type people with clothes on and stuff. These things are not clothed. These things are like goblins. Like they have the shiny skin and scales and like the gremlin ears and the kind of pug nose face. Like their nostril and their face is like kind of puggish. And their ears are a bit shorter than gremlins. But the closest thing that you could say are gremlins. Or have you seen online the Kentucky Goblin? Have you seen that? That's the closest thing I found.
I've seen it actually on one of the episodes of Mountain Monsters. They went after it.
I don't know if you can capture these things. I think these are like the devil's minions. To me, these are the devil's minions, and they're there to seek the ruin of souls. They're there to take souls, and I think that's what they did to my brother. And it's funny that he won't even talk about it. So what was your experience with them? You saw them like scurrying around and stuff. Did you ever have any interaction with them, or did anybody in your family get attacked by them?
Oh, shit. Oh,
wow. No, the weird thing is when I saw them and I heard the door open up, I actually peeked and they looked at me and I looked at them and they said some weird things and then they bowed. And then they walked away.
Like, sorry, My Highness.
Like, it's like I have no idea until like recently, and I met my wife and Chris, that they've made it very clear about, you know, why they probably did that.
They're so scary, dude. Super scary. And it's weird how they used to chase my brother through the house like every night for about a week. And I think my grandparents were in on it. And we used to get freaked out at night, and we'd be like, Granny, Grandpa, Granny, Grandpa, we're scared. And they're like, there's nothing to be scared of. There's no such thing as ghosts and all this other stuff, which I know differently. And I know they were lying to me. I just knew it. And then once they did that, like they caught him on each side, like one had the right arm, one had the left arm, and they were looking right at them. I know they saw them. And I love them to death. Like, they were a major part of my life after my mom died and my dad abandoned us. But at the same time, I know they gave my brother up as a sacrifice.
Wow.
That would be crazy.
I know they did it. I know they did.
Wow.
Probably
because he was like fighting still, and then he just collapsed once they got him. And then after that, like I said, he could not stay out of trouble, no matter what. Even though he had such a good heart, such a kind, loving heart, no matter what, he was in trouble. And it's like, you know, you hear about the St. Michael prayer, seeking to ruin and tarnish and destroy mankind. Like, they want to bring spirits over on that side. How can you take an innocent child and do that? But they did. You would think this person is innocent. How can they take him?
Manipulative. Brainwashing.
It's putting that darkness inside of them and letting that take over if they don't know the right steps to take not to.
Pretty much. It's either you're turned into evil or you're born evil. One of the two.
Yeah.
One of the two. Yeah. It's just crazy.
Jim the Jeep 4-wheel drive, he's like listening and he's totally into the story, but I shit you not, dude. This is fucking for real. Like, I can not tell you. Like, people, even my husband is like, the devil would not appear to you. Okay, if the devil's looking for wives, which he was in my mom and myself and my sister, like, he's looking for wives, and he doesn't need just one. He likes multiples.
Well, I mean, look at, you know, if you go into your Greek mythology, Hades had Persephone. Persephone was a little bit of a hooker, though. She would have different men come around when Hades wasn't there.
Yeah, you can't make a hoe a housewife.
Yeah, but I think the only reason why Persephone did that was because all three gods, all three brothers, Hades, Zeus, and Poseidon, did sleep with mortal women, and they had children.
Yep.
So I'm guessing, you know, that they were like, you know, they did all that just to have fun, because they're like, fuck, I'm stuck here 24/7. I need to get away for a little bit, have a little fun, and then it gets way out of hand. Like, they have too many drinks and they go home with the warm girl.
Right?
The beer goggles kick in.
Well, I'm just grateful that, you know, when he showed up to my mother, he was right by her bed. And they had a really lengthy conversation, and she, you know, really enjoyed the company. For me, he was a little farther away. He was in my doorway, and I've shared this story with my kids. I told them how to get past it, because for me, when I said, as I would anytime I had a nightmare, which was every freaking night of my childhood, God stands before me, Satan fall behind. That was able to get me back to sleep. But when I encountered the devil and I knew who he was, Satan, Lucifer, whatever you want to call him, Samael, I knew who it was. Just seeing him. I said that, not out loud, in my head, and just like that, I was asleep. My mother had a lengthy conversation with him. She knew how she was going to die, when she was going to die. And then when they did get in the car accident, my sister was there. I wanted to be there, but my mom's like, no, I have to drop you off, because if you go with me, you're not going to live through this. And so instead of going into the house where she wanted me to be, I got into their car, which was in the driveway, and I just cried and cried and cried, and it was like raining really hard. And then all of a sudden the sun came out, and I quit crying, and I felt a bit of peace. And that's when I went into the house, and it was like total, utter chaos. Everybody was running around screaming. The mother was on the phone, and she's like, what's going on? Where are you at? And then we went right down the road from my house, less than a mile, where the store was, where we'd go to get suckers or whatnot, those little candy necklaces and such. And that's where the car accident was. And my sister said when that car accident happened, she saw a limousine there with a man in a tuxedo smoking a cigar. That's the same guy that I saw. And he came for my mom. She's protected us since then. She's actually pleaded before God for my sister's life. I don't know if she did when I got into my car accident, but I was saved and my family was. But once I got past 34, I knew I was okay. I knew I was safe, that the curse wasn't going to get me. But I know he was after me for a while. And that's why I fear the astral thing, Christopher or Chris, because leaving my body, I know so many things have tried to get in there, and a couple things have gotten in. I'm afraid to leave my body because I know something's going to jump in there if I try to leave it, because they've been trying my whole life since I was, like you said, 6.
That's crazy, but when you said those 3 names, Tessa, I heard a laugh.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find around what made that laugh, because it sounded so close.
He's still there. He's still waiting, and that's why I share it with my kids. Like, a lot of people are like, I want to protect my kids from this, so I'm not going to tell them. It's important to share that information with your kids and let them know how to protect themselves and what's going on. And my youngest daughter, she's only 4, and she was running around for a while saying, I'm not scared of the devil. He's a nice guy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, he's not. He may appear to be. He makes you want to think he is a nice guy, but he really isn't. He wants to ruin your soul. He wants you to be on his side. He doesn't want you to go to the light or to the brighter side. He wants you to be his. Do not trust him. And if he ever comes to you, say these words. And these protected me, so hopefully they'll protect you. Maybe I'm ignorant in saying that, but it worked for me, so how can it not for my kids? You know what I mean? Do you think I'm right or wrong, Chris? Do you think I'm right in doing that?
Honestly, on the psychic level, I'm being told that you did the right thing by telling them and sharing your story, because I'm being told since it runs in your family, gifted. Yes, it's good to share that with them, so in case if you're no longer around, they know what to say to protect them. Because I think even though the curse didn't follow you, I'm not saying to still follow them, but just to be safe, because there's never enough protection. It's always good to be protected. See, with me, I always change things up all the time. And see, like with me, I wear bracelets, different types of things, and necklaces. And me, I don't tell everybody what I do. I keep that to myself. And then along with, of course, my ancestor, but I call up on other things too, so it doesn't really bother me. So it's always good to.
It's funny because Chris can wear those things, Christina can wear those things. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, on my birthday, Chris actually got me a bracelet. And he did his magical stuff on it. He
cleansed it,
blessed it. He did all kinds of stuff to it. And he's like, when you get home, go ahead and put it on. Well, I took it out of the bag. Chris over here he dripped some Florida water on it, and it kind of like leaked out of the bag onto my arm. And I was like, holy hell, that burns. And my wife's like, what? Don't even get me started. I had it on for like maybe an hour or 2, and then I had to take it off and never wear it since because it burns. I even washed it with soap and water, and it burns. I was like, you know what? Nope.
Did it leave like burn marks on your arm because you wore it for so long?
Anything religious makes marks. It leaves imprints.
I used to make jokes like, because I was baptized LDS when I was like 7, 8 years old. And then I'd fall away, go back, fall away, go back, fall away, go back. The last time me and my husband would make jokes like, as soon as I walk in the church, it's going to catch on fire, which it never did, which was good. But still, you kind of feel that around you. And like you said, you can't even go into church or even listen to a prayer without feeling like you're going to have some sort of seizure or something, like your body can't stay still and you feel so uncomfortable that this is happening.
No.
Even though you're genuinely
Christina,
a good person and you have a really good heart, and I love your humor, even though I didn't know you when I said that, I really do love your humor, and I think that's what keeps you from fully going that way, is you have that humor. But
yeah, and Christina's actually the one that because growing up, my grandparents and my aunts, they would always tell my mom, you know, he's gonna be the worst of your kids. You know, he's gonna be. They gave me, that I was gonna be the handful, that I was gonna commit to nothing, and they actually gave me my nickname as of my second day being born. My grandma and one of my aunts actually called me. They said that I was the devil reincarnated. So it actually stuck that my aunt and grandma called me the devil the second day I was born. And it stuck. Thanks.
Well, I don't think you are, and I don't feel that you are. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to you. But I think there is something attached to you, like you said. Something on you that's causing this, or within you. It's not you. It's something foreign from you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so... And that's what I kind of tell, you know, like everybody's like, oh, yeah, it's this, it's that. And I was like, okay, well, then you tell me, when I dream and I see myself with this super slick haircut, like I'm looking out of something out of the, I'm looking like Robert De Niro in The Untouchables.
You got that Dapple Dan in your hair all slicked back.
Yeah, like I look like something out of the mob scene era. You know, I got that pinstripe suit with the red flower, the red tie, and I got the cane with the skull on it, and I'm like, man, is this me or am I somebody else? And I see other things that their faces are blurred out, and they're like, you know, what do we do, boss? And blah blah blah. And how many do we take? And I honestly don't even know anymore. I don't even know if they're dreams or they're really happening.
Right? I know, that's the scary part. And like you and I have lost time, and our families have felt threatened by us, and that's not what we want. You know, we want our families to feel loved and protected. And then these other things jump through and, like you said before, cause your face to distort, your voice to distort, different things to happen that they know it's not you. But they really do fear it, because they fear their own safety, and they know that this thing can hurt them, even though that's not what you want to happen. It is able to happen. It's very scary and against our own will. No matter what, we wouldn't do this, but this thing jumps in and takes over.
Oh, it doesn't jump in. It doesn't move. It just does whatever it wants.
Well, I like to think it jumps in because I don't like to think this thing is here the whole time. But maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, that was weird. That was weird.
What?
I just heard something. It was a candle that I'm burning. But yeah, it's just weird because, you know, most of us.
Chris, what about the candle? Remember that?
Which candle?
The one you made, the one you blessed.
What about it?
Christina actually lit it right the other day, and I was sitting on the couch and she lit it. She's like, yeah, Chris has to light this thing every once in a while. She lit it, and then like within seconds later, like I nod my head. I was like, why am I getting such a headache?
Right.
Well, I'm going to tell you why, because I told you why I put protection in there.
Exactly. That's why I was like, why am I getting a headache? I didn't even do, I know how everything was fine and so right now, and it's just like,
Well, you guys, I hate to say this, but we are at the end of our time. So, Junior, Christina, Chris, can you tell our listeners where to find your show and how to find you online to ask you further questions or get a reading? Or to listen to your show?
Well, they want to contact me on Facebook. They can reach me at Chris Psychic Garcia, or they can reach me on my own personal cell phone, 210-974-3470. Again, 210-974-3470. And of course, if you want to listen to us On the House Water Files on what network, Junior?
Oh, on the GE network. That's the Global Enlightenment Radio Network, which Tessa's also on. And if you want to get in contact with me, you can find my wife on Facebook, Christina and Junior Estrada at facebook.com, or find her on Snapchat under Christina Estrada. She's on there somewhere. And yeah, don't add me, don't call me, because I'm way too busy during the week to take your phone calls. So, you know, I contribute to society during the week.
So, and then on top of that, if you want to be a guest on our show, you can do that. And I just want to say, for Tessa, I'm glad you're part of the network. We're a beautiful family. And yeah, so just stay tuned, and you never know what we have. And of course, everybody says I'm unpredictable, but you just never know. Especially with Junior and Christina.
Chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. But I want to thank you so much once again, Chris Garcia, the most famous psychic Chris Garcia, as Junior would say. And Junior and Christina, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Late Night in the Rockies. It was a pleasure having you guys, for sure.
It's always the best when we get on each other's show.
Heck yes. I can't wait to do it again.
Yep.
The first Tuesday in March. I'm excited. And I want to thank all of our friends out there on We Are Paradox Media's Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter, Periscope, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you may be listening beyond the Omniverse tonight. I had a wonderful time this evening, and I can't wait to do it again tomorrow night, where we have Richard Case, the Ghost Challenger.